very good evening, a very good afternoon. Welcome to Crafters TV. My name is Ben Moseby. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday. It has been a terrific Tuesday. It has been, I think, one of my favourite days this year, actually, because it's been so exciting for the fact that we've had, well, already a brand new launch, and tonight on this show, I know loads of you are tuning in specifically for this, something which I think hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you have been waiting for, and I know already loads and loads of you have jumped in and bought. More about what that is in just a few moments' time, but potentially the most anticipated show of the year so far. Before we get into it, I must just let you know that there's lots of excitement generally. If you head to our website, loads of things going on there at the moment. Our spring sale, it's spring now, woohoo! We launched it on Sunday with our spring sale. It's definitely worth a peruse because you're going to find some great deals there. Whatever your choice of craft may be, you will find a deal. We've got up to 70% off on the website right now. Those spring sale deals run until the end of play on Sunday, so do make sure you check those out. As well as that, if you're a fan of Spectrum Noir, which you all are, launching, I think it was yesterday as part of National Craft Month, we've got a 3 for 2 on selected Spectrum Noir accessories too. So that one runs through until end of play on Saturday, so you basically got until the weekend to take advantage of these deals. And if you're thinking, "God, blimey, hang on a minute, Governor, 2 deals on the web," we've added a third today because it's Totally Tiffany's 19th birthday. Well, the brand Totally Tiffany, 19th birthday, and as part of that, we are giving you double points on Totally Tiffany goodies. So do make sure that you have a look at that. In fact, we've got some new launches which we're going to preview a little bit later on, but certainly lots to be very excited about. But that's not the reason you're here. The reason you are here is because we have got potentially the most anticipated, the most sought after deal on this show, launch party. We're bringing you the Academy of Colour. Now, whether you are someone who is perhaps a little bit further down the line as far as your colouring is concerned and you're looking for a bit of a refresher, a bit of a reminder of what's what, then this collection is going to be for you. However, and we've already heard loads of comments today from various people, if you are somebody who is scared of colouring, I know that sounds like a silly thing to say, but if you're somebody who's scared of colouring, if you're somebody who's tried it but never quite got it right, if you just don't have, if you don't have the courage to give it a go, whether it be with your alcohol markers or indeed with your watercolour, then this day, this evening, is the first step on your journey to becoming the colourist that you always wanted to be. Because we're launching tonight the Academy of Colour. We're going to go through this in full detail in just a few moments' time. The deal is phenomenal, which we will talk around in just a few moments' time. But the genius about the whole of the Academy of Colour is that you are going to get step-by-step tuition right throughout your journey. You're going to get that encouragement that you need, you're going to get the education that you want, and you're going to be inspired to carry on and become, as I say, that colourist that you always wanted to be. I'm hugely excited about this launch, and there was only really one person who could be with me over the course of the next 3 hours. Yes, the brains behind it all, the lady who actually is going to be your sort of little pocket digital friend when you take the classes. She's here in full size tonight, though. The lovely Leann joins me. How are you?
Oh, Ben, I'm really well, thank you, and it's gorgeous to be here. Thanks very much. I'm thrilled to be here at the launch of this product, I have to say. It has been hotly anticipated, and it's been in development for many, many months. It's something that I've personally wanted to do since the first launch we ever did of Spectrum Noir. And it's something that you have asked me for on many, many occasions. So to be able to have a set curated specifically around taking you on a journey from no colouring skills or limited colouring skills to being an expert in those colouring skills, and to give you all of the techniques that are specific to this type of colouring and have you feel confident with them and get fantastic results at home. That's what this kit is all about, Ben.
And it's crazy to think, isn't it? And I know this because you guys have been sending in messages during the last show, and I see comments all the time. Like whenever we have Colour Me Happy shows, there's so many of our viewers who are scared to get started. They kind of almost don't know where that starting point is. And for me, I almost see this as that, this is that first stepping stone, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's the first stepping stone. This has been curated for people who have been looking at colouring and, one, being frustrated at not being able to achieve the results you see us achieve, or you see bloggers and Instagrammers and YouTubers achieve, other people in the groups maybe that you follow. It's also about wanting to do it but never taking the first step. It's about having tried and not being pleased with what you've done. It's a set which is going to take all of those frustrations and remove them from you in a matter of moments, and just give you the confidence to go forward and get fantastic results with it time after time. However, what we've also found is there are a number of you who have been colouring for years and being quite happy with your results, but you're loving the more advanced techniques that you're learning and how to really take that colouring on a journey. So it's something for everybody, Ben, really.
And again, take that point with the more experienced colourists. For those of you who watched Launch Day a little bit earlier on, Sara, who I know, she's really experienced, but she's still learning. She said on one of the classes that she took with you, she was like, it was the greys and the greens, basically. She was scared to do. And even someone like Sara, who we all know as an experienced colourist, is still learning, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely. And it really is it's a journey. It's a journey of discovery. Most importantly, it's a set that has been really carefully curated. It's giving you everything you need and nothing you don't need. And it's got every single thing that I will go through with you in the education sessions to help you on your journey. And the thing is, you get all of this content, Ben. So you get all of the stamps, you get the folder, you get your markers, you get alcohol markers, and you get your aqua markers, you get your white acrylic pen, your spritzer, your paintbrushes, you get all of the stamps that you need to learn about that, and you get a binder to keep that all safe and secure and well organised, as well as the card that you need, all in a beautifully displayed box. It is really fantastic value for money in terms of what you can see there, but the piece for me, Ben, is that education that we've got with it. So the education that I have done and is available for you, if you purchase this today now, you can go and watch 6 hours and 10 minutes of specific education. It is there waiting for you to access. 3 hours on alcohol colouring, 3 hours on watercolouring. It's there for you now. It's waiting on the website on this little card that comes in. I shouldn't be peeling this off, but I am. That comes on this little card in the box. You don't want to throw this away. You want to keep this. Because
we're trying to catch each other now.
We're doing that catch me if you can with a card. You want to keep this, don't throw it away, it's not a little bit of packaging. On the back of here is the address for you to go and find and access that exclusive education that is linked to the Academy of Colour. And you'll be able to, the benefit for you buying into this now and the fact that they are already there is the experience that the people who've had this since the launch on HSN have been having, which is they've watched it live, however they've all said they're not going to do that. Not all, a lot of people have said they're not going to do that. They're going to wait and watch it back once it's there to be paused, fast forward, rewind, done in half-hour sessions. It's just there for you to learn at your own pace, to take a session at a time, to do half an hour, maybe be a little bit, I'm not sure about that, I need to do it again, rewind it and start again. And it's never going to go anywhere. It will always be there for you to access and revisit your skills and learn on that journey. And I'm going to hold your hand. The good thing about it is, in this show tonight, Ben will be telling you stock updates, he'll be telling you prices, he'll be telling you about other things that are launching, he'll be interrupting me with questions from you. Of course, that's what these shows are about. But on the education session that I do, you get none of that. It is me and you for 3 hours protected, where we just go through everything you need. And I think that's the real joy of this collection, Ben.
No, absolutely right. And again, you can't put a price on that when you think about all of the classes that you are going to get. Like the price on screen right now here is phenomenal for everything that you get within the box. But then you've got to think on top of that about all of the tuition that you're going to get. Already 6 hours and 10 minutes, as Leann was telling us, for you to be able to use at your leisure whenever you want. Rewind, fast forward, go back, use it whenever you want to use it. This is the point. And what I would put to you here is, when you consider the price that you're paying for the box itself, if you're someone who's ever maybe potentially thought about taking an evening class, or maybe you've paid to go to a craft class, what's the sort of price you would spend for like a session of craft classes? If you've ever done it, like maybe you've gone back to do some adult learning, you know, evening classes, those kind of things, you've done like a 10-week, 15-week course, what sort of price did you pay? You know, here's the thing as well, if you perhaps bought from other companies potentially, whether it be with craft. How much have you had to pay for like all of these extra things? Sometimes you'll get the actual physical product, but then you have to pay extra for the tuition. You have to fork out £10 here, $10 there. With us, we're saying you get this collection today, you buy into the Academy of Colour, you start that journey, and the learning starts straight away because you've got, as Leann was saying, over 6 hours of tuition already. And as Leann will go through the Academy of Colour in more detail in just a second, whether it be that you want to learn with your alcohol colouring, whether it be that you want to learn more of your watercolouring. And a really great point in that, yes, this is a perfect starter point for those who were scared, those who were worried, those who were thinking, oh, I can't colour. This is absolutely for you. But also if you're further down that line, it's a great way to be able to learn new tips. As we've mentioned, Sara, for goodness sake, learning from the Academy of Colour. And that's the point. That's the point. If you're a beginner, if you're Sara, this is absolutely for you. Already, loads of you have jumped in and bought this today. That's the price, £99, $119. Just one final mention on that front. If you were one of those people that jumped in earlier on before we dropped the price, if you joined us tonight and you're going, hang on a minute, that's not the price I paid more, we will be in touch with you. Do not worry. You bought it before we dropped the price down, which is the price here. If you paid more, someone will be in touch and you will be refunded the difference. If you're platinum, £79.20 is the price today, $95.20 if you're shopping with us in the US. What I would ask for you over the course of this show is to send in your testimonials. I've already got a load of your comments here, which I'm going to read out. But if you would like to send in more, please do, because I think it's really important over the course of this show that we obviously tell you why we love this so much, but we need to hear from you. You might need to hear from other people who've already bought the Academy of Colour. Tell those other people why you love the Academy Colour so much. Tell everybody else what you've been enjoying about the classes if you've already tried them. So please send in those testimonials. Also, the other thing I want from you this evening as well, questions. Now, obviously, during the classes, the questions will be answered by Leann, the digital Leann. We've got live Leann tonight. So if there's any questions that you want to ask about anything that Leann does specifically during the show, ask them. If there's any questions that you want to ask specifically about the Academy of Colour, ask them. And I will pose those questions to Leann right throughout the show. Let's make it nice and interactive. If indeed you're thinking about buying the collection, but you need to have a question answered before you do, ask that question and we will put them all to Leann and we'll make it a really fun, interactive show. And by the end of it, hopefully, you're then taking your first step on that journey in the Academy of Colour. And just whilst we get started, I think it's worth reading a few of the testimonials that have already come through. For Holidays Designs messaged and said, I cannot say enough good things about the Academy of Colour. I love having the exact colour and marker to know what my results should look like. There's difference between these and the existing ones. Gwenda says, I was going to pass on the Academy of Colour when HSN had it. I wanted to be interested in colouring and I'm so glad that I bought it. The class is wonderful and I'm not afraid to colour anymore. Please get this, says Gwenda. Do not hesitate. And Susie says, Leann is an amazing teacher. I can't believe how much I've learned watching just 2 classes. I love that you can watch them over and over whilst you practice the new techniques. The Academy of Colour is amazing. And I mean, I've got pages and pages of these coming through, and you, I'm sure, will send more as we head through the show. One more for now from Miriam, who says, the education with the Academy of Colour is invaluable. I've learned so much and I can replay and replay the learning videos at my own pace. Leann is a fabulous teacher. As I say, she is live here tonight. Get those questions in. And what we need to do right now, I think, is have a little bit of an unboxing and delve deeply into the treasure of this box.
Absolutely. So Ben, this if somebody was to ask me the product that I'm the proudest of at Crafters Companion, my answer up to now would have always been the Gemini. I think I might have to say the Academy of Colour from now on, because it puts you at the centre of everything we've done in this box. And you know what I'm saying? The centre of everything I've done, I've put you, the customer, at the centre of it and thought about what you want when you get this home and what you want to experience when you're using these products and when you're going through that education. So the fact that I've been able to do that when I've curated it makes it pretty special, I think, Ben. So you're going to get 2 gorgeous quality boxes when they arrive. The first one we're going to look at here is like the best box of chocolates. And look, and we've got that little message for you. It's like, can you tell I'm a fan of Star Wars?
Oh, yes.
Right, so I do like the Star, I do like a bit of Star Wars, and I make no apologies for taking a little bit of inspiration. Your colouring journey starts here. Georgina, our producer, doesn't get it. We will forgive her for that.
Will we?
Because she's obviously a Star Wars heathen. It's absolutely beautiful. Your colouring journey starts here. And can I just tell you, when you get the last box that we will do in this collection, and there are another 6 after this, that final one, so the 7th box has congratulations, you've finished the journey on it.
Yes.
We've planned all of that, and it just continues all the way through. It's amazing. So your colouring journey starts here. It's got this fabulous magnetic clasp.
I can hear the quality.
It's just the quality, Ben. So you've got the fabulous magnetic clasp, and then you open the box up, and this is the first thing you will see. It's got a full top layer of our brand new duo alcohol markers, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about them as we go through.
Yes.
But you can see here you've got those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 markers, 32 colours. You also get this, do not throw it away. On the back of here is your information on how to get to the education we've talked about. So keep that safe. You're going to follow that link.
Okay.
Then if we remove this top layer, we've got another layer underneath where we've got our duo aqua markers.
Okay.
And you've got your 8 markers in there, which is 16 different colours. We've got an opaque white acrylic paint marker, brilliant for highlighting, that's included. You've got your spritzer for techniques, you've got your wide brush for backgrounds, and your detail paint brush, all to work with your aqua markers. The white acrylic marker here does also work with your alcohol markers. We're going to be looking at that.
Great.
The next tray down, Ben, has in all of the bits and bobs that you need. Now, you will get some stamps in here. I've took my stamps out and put them in my binder. I'll show you that in a second. So on this top layer, you will get, let me just show you. I'll turn it around so you can actually see it. You will get the panel, this white panel, for your stamps, and the stamps already on it. So you'll get the duo colour shading practice, and the duo colour alcohol markers, and the duo colour aqua markers, 3 white panels to store your stamps, and you'll get the 3 large stamp plates in here as well. And these stamps are focused on your education, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. So you get those, and they'll be on the top there. Then underneath there you have got a blending palette, which we include for you, so you can see that's clear. That's perfect for doing all of your blending alcohol and aqua marker on there. You've got a little pack of alcohol marker card to get you started, and you've got a little pack of watercolor card to get you started, and that's all nested in there in the perfect shaped slots, so that everything you need is easy to access, easy to put away, beautifully displayed, and is of the highest quality. Your binder is equally fantastic. So you've got this fabulous faux leather look on it here. I've just wafted that a bit fast, look. You've got your lovely Spectrum Noir Academy branding in there. When you open it up, you've got all of the things that you need to get you organised. So here is a list of everything we're going to cover in this academy. And so in the academy, you will have your duo colour introduction, which is in the box I've just shown you. That's an introduction to duo colour, alcohol and aqua, and all of the little bits and bobs you need. And then in the future, Ben, we are going to be launching boxes which will cover portraits, so that's skin and hair, flora and fauna, feathers and fur, cute characters, and then we're going to do aqua pencils and wax pencils. Okay. So there'll be another 6 boxes for you to be able to access over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, which covers each of these specific topics for you. So it tells you at the beginning. Then when you turn that over, the first thing we're going to be doing is looking at the duo colour introduction. This is why I love the organisation here. Everything's very clear and succinct. This is where I've put my stamp plates that came in this box. So my first set of stamps here, you can see I've got a heart, a cylinder, a circle, a triangle, cherries, a tree. You might be wondering what on earth that's all about. You're going to find out soon. Okay. So they're our skills stamps. Yeah. We're then moving on, and we've got a little bit of everything we need with alcohol colouring. We've got some flowers, we've got some beautiful wings, we've got skin, we've got hair, we've got clothing to do beautiful folds and dresses, a couple of little sentiments so you can make your finished pieces into cards if you want to, and a butterfly for doing some palette blending. So that's a sheet you've got there specific to teaching some alcohol colouring.
Okay.
Then we've got this full sheet of stamps specific to teaching our alcohol colouring, where we've got everything we need for you to be able to practice all of the watercolour, I beg your pardon,
yes,
watercolour techniques that you need. All of those already in there and stored. You've then got a section for every one of the boxes that will launch in the future. So you've got somewhere to put your stamp panels and your stamps, so they're beautifully organised and you can access them. What I've also done is include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these fabulous zip closure wallets, which allows you to take the pieces that you're working on. So let's say you've been working on the introduction, you've got several little pieces finished and you want to just keep them organised.
Oh, fantastic.
You can pop your little pieces that you've been working on in there,
yeah,
and you can either leave them at the back, Ben, or what I like to do is to move this wallet to the section I'm working on. So if I'm working on my section 1 and these are my pieces relating to section 1, actually this would get put here in my binder.
I love the organisation with this as well, and that's the key, isn't it, I think?
It is. So all of my pieces to those stamp sets and that piece of education are stored in the right place.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful quality binder. What we've also done is make sure that the depth of this takes all of the stamps when they come in, that you're not going to be cramming them in, it's going to be comfortable. We've done all of the measuring and the planning and thinking for you. So that's what you get in your box, Ben. You get that beautiful binder, all of the organisation and all of those contents that you've seen. And read the reviews that are out there, because without exception, what you will hear people say is, I knew it was going to be good, but I hadn't appreciated how good, what the quality feels like when I open it, the experience I have when I open that box. And by the way, the box it comes in, it's so well protected and packed. It's like it's like Christmas Day in one box.
Yeah.
It's a full experience you get when you open it. And the quality of it really communicates all of the effort we've put into making sure you've got the best you could possibly have to start this fabulous journey.
Honestly, the excitement is off the chart this evening. There's so many of you telling me that you're buying this right now. Producer Georgina is struggling to keep up with the amount of you that are jumping in and grabbing this right now. And how amazing, to hear from Leann herself saying this is the kind of item that she's most proud of to have been part of, to have developed here at Crafters Companion. And for those of you that are asking, there's quite a few people sort of saying, well, is there more to come? You've heard it from Leann herself. This is the start of the journey. You're going to be able to get your hands on more of these Academies of Colour, the boxes, as we head through the next 12 to 18 months. And the point is, you've got the binder there then to add in all of the extras that you're going to get as far as the next boxes are concerned. It's basically, as I said, the start of the journey tonight, because you're getting the first of the boxes, you're getting the binder, and then you're getting the first lot of the tuition as well. Few people just asking, and again, these are great questions, and we want to answer them all. Alison says, do you have to buy the extra kits to get access to the further classes, Leann? So do you have to buy the extra kits to get access to the following classes, is that question?
No, so all of the classes will be in the same place. However, so when we first launched the box, we had lots of questions of that nature. And a number of you said, I'm just going to watch the classes and I'm not going to bother with the box because I'm going to use what I've got. And then those of you who have got the box have said, oh, I realise now why I really need the box to do those classes, because it is about tailoring the experience for you so that when you're going through the education, you're using the exact same pen with the exact same colours, with the exact stamp to replicate the exact result. So then you can see whether your skills are improving. And that's the absolute joy of this collection, that you are using the exact same thing as me, and I'm able to hold your hand with those colours and that stamps and that result, so that your skills can really go on a journey, which is why we say your colouring journey starts here. And it's having those exact same things that I'm using that is making this experience so unique and so enjoyable to everybody who has been already starting on this journey with us.
And I can't explain to you just how amazing this is. You guys are explaining it better than I'm talking about it tonight. Mary's has said the Academy of Colour is a great concept. I love the education that comes with it. I bought it on HSN. This is great as well. So for our US viewers that have already bought this, tell the UK viewers why you love it so much. Kathy says, I love the Academy of Colour. It's worth every penny. The classes are amazing. And I can't believe all the tips that I've learned. My colouring has already improved. And this is what we're hearing. Like already, people who've just like delved in and done a few hours of the classes already, people telling us that their colouring has improved. People telling us that their confidence levels have improved, which I think is more important than anything. Sean Copeland on YouTube. This was by far the best value for the money in training. Excellent product. These are testimonials that are coming through right now. Fred171 says, when I got the Classiques, you could get a DVD of lessons. However, the new Academy of Colour classes are even better. Miriam saying, you could pay so much for education on colouring. You could. Art school, community college, private tutor. We get all that with Leann, the best teacher ever. And this is the thing, right? How much do you pay? How much do you pay for like an hour of tuition in whatever it might be? You know, say it's an hour in piano lessons, or like I take my daughter's horse riding, for example. Why did you take up horse riding?
That's what I started, Ben. It's expensive. That's why he's in the career he's in now. Honestly, I mean, he was 4 when he started horse riding, and I
nearly cried.
It's a lot of money, Ben. Yeah. And every time our feet grow, new riding boots. Yeah. Oh, I know, Ben.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be a fairly well-off bloke if it wasn't for those.
If it wasn't for the horse riding lessons.
I'm telling you, it's cheaper up here. Everything's cheaper up here.
I would be retired if it hadn't been for Peter's horse riding lessons.
£35 an hour. I'll just throw that figure at you. £35 an hour. I was saying to not even 3 lessons. 35 a month. What is that? £140 a month. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I was saying to producer Georgina before the show, I'm interested in learning sign language. To do like a class there. Say goodbye to £500, but this is the point, like this is the real world, isn't it? Where if you expect to get that tuition for something like this, the education, the inspiration, you expect to pay for it. Not here though. I mean, try and figure, I mean, I don't know, don't worry about it. You're getting it built in for free with this collection. So you're paying, this price here is for this, the education that you get, we're giving to you for free to use at a time which is, great for you. You can do it in the evening. You can do it first thing in the morning. You can jump in and do, 10, 15 minutes at your leisure. You can go back and practice again and, pause, rewind, watch again, Digital Leann. It's so, so clever. And of course, you're only going to add as you go further along your colouring journey to the Academy of Colour and the classes as well. Just a few more. There's so many comments coming through. Kathy says, I've got mine. I'm so excited as this will be new to me. I don't do colouring, but I would love to learn. You'll be doing it after you've been in the Academy of Colour. Sean just saying, I love the Academy of Colour. It's a must-have. The classes have been absolutely amazing. And Anne Galvin says, the Academy of Colour has been such a great investment for me and my family. We are all learning at the same time, and we make great memories. Thank you so much. And this is another great point. I'm going to go over to Leann next. I feel like I'm hogging the limelight, but I'm so excited about this. But Anne struck on a really good point here. Anna saying this is a great investment, not just for her, but for the whole family, because this isn't just for us. This is for everybody, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful point. It is absolutely for everybody in the family. And Ben, I had a point in my head, and now it's left my head.
It sounded like you were going to say something like earth-shatteringly brilliant.
I was going to say something earth-shatteringly brilliant, of course, and now whatever it was has left my head.
Okay, maybe it will come back to you.
It will come back to me. At some point in the next 2 and a bit hours, I will just shout a random thing at you, and it will be that thing that I've forgotten. So let's do some stamping. Oh, these are just little, this wasn't the thing, but this is another thing. So these are little tasters of what you're going to experience in that 3 hours. What I would not be able to do in this launch party is cover all of the content of 3 dedicated hours of teaching. But I'm going to show you little snippets of those teaching points, so you can see the sort of things that we're going to cover and how easy it is, and then how you can be confident going forward with that when you go through it. So we're just going to stamp some of the shapes. Now on this first sheet of sheet of shapes, I give you a triangle, circle, a cylinder and a heart.
Okay.
Stamp. And you might wonder why, Ben.
What? I was going to say, why
you
are you
might wonder
giving me?
why, Ben.
Why are you giving me that?
Well,
what's that all about?
Because most of the things we colour are in that shape. So if you think about a cylinder, oh, look, you can see my bleach. Look, shall I move my bleach?
Sorry, I was cleaning the toilet earlier on.
Thanks, Ben.
And I left it. Apologies.
The bleach is for my watercolouring things later on.
Have you got what you need of it?
No, but, but if you just put it on the floor because it looks off, that's thanks,
under.
Ben, and I'll get it later. Thank you very
welcome.
much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to stamp my triangle. I'm going to stamp my circle.
So what you were saying, why have you put these in here?
So, example, if you were going to colour my face, you would colour it as you would colour a circle because it's a little bit rounder than most people's. But if you can see, a face is essentially round or oval. Feet are essentially triangular. A butterfly wing is essentially triangular.
Yes.
Oh, that's a circle again. I've already done that. That's because I'm talking and stamping. A cylinder,
yeah.
There are lots of cylindrical items out there that we might want to colour. For example, a plant pot.
Yes.
A Chinese lantern is more spherical. Cherries are spherical.
Yes.
So if you think about most of the different shapes we've got out there are kind of one of these three shapes. So if we learn how to shade the shape, we can apply that to all of those other things that we're going to colour. So it takes it back right to the very, very, very basic for you. Yeah. I'm going to stamp this on another piece of card because there's something else I want to tell you about this. Here it is here. Excellent. Right. Now, we're going to first start with what a smooth blend is, Ben. Because there are, and so many of you, when you were watching the first education session, were blown away by this. They didn't know that this was the thing. This is exactly what a smooth blend is. So most people who colour with alcohol markers think that a smooth blend is the transition between three colours.
Right.
A smooth blend is actually a flat colour, which is smooth with no lines in it. Let me explain what I mean. If I put down some lines of colour here, and that's just one stroke of the colour that we can see there, we're not getting the full colour representation of this marker because alcohol ink is transparent. What you're getting is the white colour of the card showing through that first layer.
Right.
Because if I turn this over, I can see the ink hasn't come through and it's white card underneath. And I can see some lines there where my pen has started to cross over. A smooth blend is where we actually saturate the card, do layers of colour over the top, which then gives you the true representation of the colour. Because what you can see there now are three different shades of that one marker, because it's either fully saturated, partially saturated, one layer of pen on a card. That is not a smooth blend. And if I turn this over, we can see fully saturated, the actual colour of the ink, not quite as saturated, not saturated at all. And so this is now not smooth.
Yeah.
So to get a smooth blend, Ben, what you have to do is get layers of the colour on top of each other and saturate the medium that you're working on, so the cardstock that you're working on. And actually, let's talk about the cardstock for a second. It's crucial that you colour on the right cardstock for the job, and I cover that in detail in the education sessions.
Okay.
I've remembered the very important thing that I was going to tell everybody. It's come back in my head.
Oh,
I'll just finish telling you this and then I'll tell you that. So now you can see that colour of that heart is very different to what it looks like here.
Yeah.
It's a beautifully flat, almost looks printed. Looks like it's been professionally printed, finished image of a heart, because I have fully saturated the card. And that means that we've got true representation of that colour, that we're not letting the white card shine through. Now, some of you, when you're colouring at home, you'll be saying, I can't get a smooth blend. It's probably because you're not getting enough ink down. The colour of whatever you're colouring on is shining through that ink, and you've got different layers, different amounts of ink in different places, so you haven't got a smooth blend. This is a smooth blend. A 3D look is a transition between colours, which is different to a smooth blend. So that's something we're going to cover as well. Now, the thing I was going to tell you that was very important before is that you all must rush to Facebook when you're buying this and join the Facebook group Academy of Colour. Because in there, I'm doing little videos, I'm doing little chats, I'm personally answering your questions. We've got me, we've got Sara, and a plethora of other colouring experts from this business who are helping you on your journey. So we're not leaving you with the education and the box, we're providing you with a whole community of support in that Academy of Colour dedicated Facebook group for you to share the results, ask questions, show us what you've achieved. If you're struggling with something, say you're struggling with it. Somebody will jump in and help you. We'll tell you if we think it's fantastic. We'll tell you if there's something you need to work on. If you're not quite sure about the result you're getting and you want to know how you could improve it, ask the question in the group. So many people there are helping each other. It is now a true community of help and support and camaraderie, which is taking you on that journey. So rush along. Join that Facebook group because it's going to also be another support for you in terms of really immediate feedback to help you with your colouring journey. I
should have known about that because I wrote it on the top of my notes there about the Facebook group. And actually, funny that you should mention it, loads of you were chatting about that group a little bit earlier on as well, why you absolutely need to join it for further inspiration, as Leanne said. But let's go back. I want to see these shapes.
So we're going to start by colouring in the sphere.
Okay.
So the sphere is the first shape we're going to learn to colour, and what we're going to do is think about whether the light source is coming from the left or the right, or top or upside, top or bottom. So we're just going to choose that it's coming. I'm just going to do a little arrow for you. We're going to choose that it's coming from here. Okay. So it's going to be lighter at the bottom. So I've got an upward shining light source. Okay. So I'm going to have something that's lighter here and darker here because my light source is coming in this direction. And again, we cover all of this, Ben, in our education sessions. So the first thing I'm going to do, the duo colour pens have got two colours on each side. See here, I've got Poppy and Ruby, which is DR2 and DR4 that you can see there. All of the colours have been hand selected by me to work together perfectly well.
Fantastic.
And give you that lovely blend that you need. So the first thing we're going to do, and what we always do, is start with our lightest colour first. So because wet ink blends much better than a dry card. So we start by just getting down our first layer of ink. And that's the first little bit of the lightest colour, which is our Poppy DR2.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop that down, and because it's going to be darker at the top, my light source is from here, I start at the top where it's going to be dark. I then take my next colour, my opposite end of my pen, which is my Ruby DR4, and I go over the top of that because it's going to blend so much easier. I then take my other side of my pen, my DR2, and I go just to the edge of that and start to drag that out. So now I get the two blending together, and I'm leaving it light at the bottom, so preserving my highlight at the bottom, because this is where it's going to be the lightest. And leave that there. You can leave a little white bit. You don't have to have everything coloured, because that leaves a little highlight, a little accent to make it look lighter. If I want to bring that darker colour down a little further, I go to the opposite side of my pen. You see how easy this is blending because I'm making sure that I've got that full saturation we talked about for a smooth blend, and I can get that lovely transition between light and dark for that to start to look 3D. Very, very easy to do. Now, just by choosing where you put your light source, you can see that you change how that sphere looks by having it with a light source from here, from the bottom. That could equally be from the top, from the right, from the left. It really doesn't matter. As long as you think about where it is and colour it lighter in that area, leave yourself a little bit of white uncoloured, and it's going to look lovely because it looks like the light's hitting on that spot. However, if you get carried away and you colour in your light bit, so you haven't left it, still looks quite spherical, but notice how it loses its little bit of shine on there. You can take your white marker that comes in the box, and you can just put a little one of them on. And that's forced that, and that tiny little white flash now makes it look like the light is hitting in that direction, and you've got that lovely shine and shade on there. Now you can do exactly the same using your triangle. your sphere, and we cover all of these in the education session, your cylinder, and your circles.
Is there a harder shape to achieve this on then? Because in my little brain, I would think, okay, well, the circle potentially would be easier to do it on, and I don't know why, but I think like the triangle would be harder to achieve that.
No, I can show you. It's just the same, exactly the same concept as we've just done, and we'll do a different colour. Let's grab the pinky purple,
okay.
Why not? So you can see the difference. So if we think about the light coming from the same direction, we'll do it in exactly the same way. So it's going to be lighter in this corner than it is on the rest of the triangle. We're just going to have the light hitting here. So we'll start where it's going to be darker with our lightest colour first, always preserving our highlight, so we never colour the whole thing in. There we go, light's coming there. I've gone over the edges there because I'm hurrying. You won't go over the edges. I'll show you how to fix that in a second anyway. Okay. So I'm coming in with my darker colour now. I'm also sitting at a funny angle, Ben, which probably isn't going to help. There we go. Yeah. And then come in with the lightest colour again. So now I'm going to go to the edge of where it was darker, bring that blend out, leave a little white area. And in fact, if you don't leave a little white area, let's go to the white acrylic marker again, because that's what that's there for. That's there to help you. You can blend that out to here. Take your white acrylic marker, put a little line in, and you've got that lovely little shine on there, like an illusion of light, exactly. Very now, clever. With our blender pen, Ben, blender pens don't blend. No. But they do fix problems. So you see where I've gone over the end there? Yep. What I can do now, and I'm just going to choose a piece of white card that you can see underneath. What I'll do with my blender pen is push this through the card that I'm colouring on into the card I've got below, because what I haven't mentioned, what we do cover on the education, is that you've always got to colour on a scrap piece. You can see there where it's picking up all of my ink below, it blots it away. You never want to be colouring direct onto your craft mat or your glass mat. So with my blender pen, what I can do is now push this, you'll see it disappear, that mistake where I came out of the lines, through the layers of card to the card below. Now, what you can see there is a little halo. That's the wet ink. That will dry. Once that's dry, we'll do it again because there's a tiny little bit of a remainder. I can just see a shadow of where that colour was there. Once this halo is dry, and it will dry completely clear, you won't see it. When it's no longer wet, we'll repeat that process, and that mistake will be completely gone, because where it's gone, Ben, is there. We've pushed it all the way through the card into the blotting piece below and got rid of our mistake. So if you do make a mistake, very easy for you to fix it, because a blender pen, and so many of you say, why does my blender pen not blend? And you know, I really wish that we hadn't called it a blender pen, Ben, but the thing is, all other alcohol pen ranges have a blender pen in. And so if we hadn't have put one in, everybody would have been saying, where's the blender pen? It should be called an eraser or a fixer. Yeah. A deleter, if you want to. Good. Because what it does is push the colour away. You see me push it through the card there. Here's a piece of dark coloured ink. If I just draw on this now with my blender pen, you'll see that you can immediately see where that colour is completely disappearing. Yeah, so it deletes. So if you're trying to blend some colours with a blender pen, it isn't going to work, Ben, because it deletes the colour, pushes it away. So it's really about correcting and softening edges rather than actual blending. And again, we go into that in significant detail in the education.
And of course, all of that education included with the Academy of Colour, you're not paying extra for that. And I must just reiterate that once again for you, that you don't get this and then we go, oh, £10 a week for the education. You get that built in, you get that for free. This is the price that you pay for this, and then you get the education for free. And that's the brilliant thing. 6 hours already that you've got the ability to go and watch. All the details that you need to be able to access it. You get a little code with your Academy of Colour. You click onto that free tuition, and it's there for you whenever you want to watch it, whenever you want to be able to, you know, take the next lesson or the next step. So many lovely comments coming through, some questions as well, which we will tackle very shortly. Just a few more comments for now. Mary Pat 1000 on YouTube says, 2 words for UK viewers. Oh, my goodness. Get it. That's what she says, get it. Coletta says, I ordered from HSN. I got it, watched the classes, and now I'm ready to dive in. Imani, hello Imani on YouTube, says, hi, I'm in class, but couldn't resist commenting because I'm an art student. I use Spectrum Noir products for my projects. I recommend this Academy of Colour to anyone who wants to dabble or indeed get to the next level. So dabblers, grab it. People who want to get to the next level, grab it. And like we've discussed, whether you are, I don't know, 13 or 83, this is for everybody. This is for the kids. This is for you know, the grannies and the granddads as well. Dawn says the Facebook group is amazing, Ben. And Francis on YouTube says, wow, nice. I had no idea that you could do that with the blender pen. Jean just saying this is a great review already. Thank you, Leanne. Keep the comments coming. Keep the questions coming. We'll do those in just a few moments' time with Leanne. But let's just show you again everything that you're going to get within your Academy of Colour. Bit of an overview really of what you get within this. It's a massive, it's so beautifully presented. When you get this back, you'll be delighted with it. There's our lovely Debbie just having a look through all of the contents of the box, where don't forget you're going to get the 16 duo colour alcohol markers, 8 of your duo colour aqua markers. You've got the paint brushes and the spritzer included in there as well for all of those watercolour techniques. You're going to get your 40 stamps to get going with. You've got your sheets of your alcohol paper and your watercolour paper included in there as well. And did anyone spot a certificate at the end? Did anyone spot a certificate? That's a little bit further down the line, but once you have got all of these and you've completed all of the tuition, you'll be able to graduate from the Academy of Colour, which I think is brilliant. You get your own little certificate, which you'll be able to frame, put on the wall, and you'll be able to look back and go, wow, I did that. I went from complete novice, somebody who was completely terrified of colouring, and look where I am now. And that's what this is about. It's an investment in that colouring journey to get you where you want to be with your colouring. But enough from me. You guys, by the way, are buying this in your droves right now. Don't forget to access all of those classes. You're going to love this. But let's get back to Leanne. Are we still looking at the alcohol markers?
We are. We're going to stick with the alcohol markers for a little while longer. There's quite a few things I'd like to give you a little insight into what you're going to see in the education. One of the things that Sara absolutely loved is the grey undercolour. I know she was talking to you about that today when she was doing her trees. So I'm going to show you how to take doing the sphere into doing some cherries, so you can understand that colour transition rather than a smooth blend. And then we're going to have a look at how to do some grey undercolour, and then we're going to have a look at how to layer your light source. Okay. And we might even colour a little bit of a cylinder. So there's quite a bit to show you still. So if we take what we've just done with the, and I've already put them to one side, yes. If we take it where we have already looked at how to do this and apply this to your cherries, we're going to take a little stamp of the cherries that come on the stamp plate for you. And then we're going to apply what we've just learned to those. So I'm going to have my light sauce. Do I have it in a different place this time? Yeah, I'm going to have my light sauce this time coming in from the top. So light sauce is coming in this direction this time. So I'm going to take my lightest colour and I'm going to apply this to my first cherry here. There we go. And remember, wet card blends much better than wet ink blends better than dry card, yes. I beg your pardon. So we get our first layer down, and then we take our darker end of the pen, so the deeper colour, we apply that over the top, we can see there. And then to get that lovely transition, we take our lighter colour up to that dark end, and then we bring that out ever so slightly, and we can leave a little area as a flash on that cherry. And we see that we've got that beautiful colour of that cherry in a heartbeat. And you're going to be able to do that yourself. That's just using the two colours on that pen and leaving a little bit uncoloured for that flash. Remember, if you get a bit carried away and you don't put the flash in, then you can use your white acrylic marker. If you want to soften the flash, this is, remember, the blender pen deletes. Yep. So if we just want to soften the edges around that a little bit, we can just do that. Just on that blender pen, Cara just wants to know, can you use the blender pen on the alcohol and the aqua? Only for alcohol. Right. alcohol only for blender. Water does the blending for the aqua one. Yeah, water's the blender for your aqua markers. So you see there where I took my blender pen and I just did a little circle around that white flash, and it softened those edges and made it even look a little bit more shiny.
Yeah.
So that is how you achieve that look on a cherry very quickly and easily. To do the cherry behind, this is where we start to look at colour layering. So because there's cherries on top of this one, it's going to be darker here. There's going to be some shadow. So where we apply our darker colour, will be, and our lighter colour will be to get that overlay. So I'm going to apply my light colour exactly as I did before, because we've got that light source coming in that direction. Bring that up there a little bit because I'm going to have some shadow from this cherry. Not doing anything differently. Got my dark colour now. Bringing that around. So I'm getting that good layering down. Preserving my highlight all the time, which is my white area, and then I bring the lighter colour pen in, bring it round, and leave my little flash there, and you can see that's where it's got that colour. And then all we do with our blender, little circle around it, soften that, and you've got two beautifully coloured cherries in a heartbeat with one marker. And that's the sort of thing you're going to be able to achieve, Ben. Now, to really deepen that colour, do you want to see the grey undercolour, or do you want to come back and see that in a minute?
I'm quite happy to see you do it now.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm mesmerised by this.
Okay. So now, grey undercolour. So though that there looks gorgeous, with alcohol colouring, there's only so far you can get the colour to go in terms of a deep colour. Yeah. And that was demonstrated by showing the smooth blend, because we've saturated the fibres of that card to their maximum. The colours all come through. This is the true colour of the pen. There is no way of making that darker unless we start to layer other colours. So if you want a deeper tone of this red, what you have to do is start layering it on top of other colours. Again, we cover this in the education in lots of detail when you go to watch the education session. So to do that, we need our grey marker. And we're using IG2 and IG5. What we do is what we do is exactly what we've just done with the red, but with the grey.
This is what Sara was talking about earlier, that she learned, that she was nervous to do.
Yeah, and she loved it once she'd learned it. Yeah,
she was telling us earlier. I've got to show you the card that she did, which one demoed the show, so you can see what she did with this technique. She was very proud.
Okay, so we've got the layering up there, and then I'm going to soften it, and I'm only going to take the grey so far. That's as far as I'm going to take it. Going to do the same on this side. So I'm starting with the lightest. So the technique is exactly the same.
Is it to colour a cherry grey?
It's not, is it? You might be forgiven for thinking, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's never going to work. Which is kind of where Sara was.
Yeah.
And then I've forced her out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And now she's really loving the effects you can get with it. So my light grey is going to blend that dark grey out. And then I'm going to leave it there. Okay, and then I'm going to let that dry. I'm just going to let the alcohol marker evaporate for a second. So I'll just give that a little
waft.
A little waft. Now we take our red pen and we just do a swipe over all of those colours with the lightest colour of red. Okay, so we're going to start here where I've preserved my highlight. Swipe there. Swipe over the rest of the cherry. Done.
Yeah.
That's with one colour of red marker. Same here. So we just swipe over. You could go and leave your little flash dot like I did before, but for speed, I'm just showing you like this. Just the lightest colour of that pen over the top of that grey, and you've got cherries which are much darker in shade to the ones we coloured before.
That's amazing.
So you get that dark undercolour, and if I bring this in and show you, when we zoom out and have a look at it, you'll be able to see with the grey undercolouring how you can get a much deeper tone to those cherries, a much, much deeper tone by putting that grey undercolour under there.
I'm almost speechless just to watch these like.
And this is what it looks like when it's on a finished card.
That's phenomenal. Who knew that you could do so much with these? And like I mean, well, I've just seen a comment coming through from Jane who says, I've never known the chat so quiet because we are all mesmerised. I think that's the word, isn't it? Mesmerised by what you're going to have the ability to achieve with this. Rebecca on YouTube just said, Leanne and Ben, I've decided to check 2 of these out. I'm getting this from my mum for Mother's Day so that we can do it together. I mean, what better than that, really, to learn along together. Sunny N says, the Academy of Colour is amazing. The classes are so informative and fun. Leanne is amazing. I mean, we knew that already, but yeah, I mean, this is what I'm getting the feel of in these classes. You're loving the tuition from Leanne, and she has so many fantastic tips and tricks. I could see a difference by the end of class 1. There you go. That's another brilliant testimonial. Sunny N. I could see a difference by the end of class number 1. So again, if you were thinking to yourself, oh yeah, well, it's going to take me hours to kind of make that first step. No, end of class 1, already seen a difference. Marlene on Facebook says, I love this kit. The stamps are so helpful for learning, and the classes, I can't say enough good things about having Leanne teach you for 3 hours. Watch it first, then play it back when you can stop it and start it. And again, the brilliant thing is, without doing myself out of a job here, you have no interruptions, will you? You have no interruptions, no breaks, no rabbiting on from me or Joe or George. It's just 3 hours solid, and that's exactly what you want, for you to watch at any time, you know, at your leisure, let's just say. And this is for everybody as well. I'll have a look through a few more of the questions in just a second, and we will fire some at Leanne, but I just want to make sure that you get your hands on this kit tonight. Already, loads of you are shopping for this. Hundreds of you have it in your baskets right now. I know hundreds of you bought earlier on. Hundreds of you bought during the launch day show, when we might have done a little bit of a sneaky peek. But the point is, everybody's jumping on the Academy of Colour. And remember, this is the first step for you on that journey. This is the first sort of step for you if you are nervous of colouring. If you don't know where to start, grab this, and then you've got all of that free tuition that we've talked about, that you've got access to at a time to suit you. And remember, within the Academy of Colour itself, you've got the very best of everything, really, because if it's more that you want to learn with your alcohol colouring, you've got the duo colour alcohol markers in there, 16 of those. If it's more like the watercolour line that you find that you're a little bit more perplexed with, again, you've got the duo watercolour pens included in there as well, with all of the tools to go with it. You've got your opaque white marker in there, your spritzer, your paint brushes included in there too. We give you the 5x7 cardstock, so you've got 18 sheets of each of the different type of cardstock for the different pens that you're going to be using. Not to mention that you're going to get 40 stamps this time around as well for you to get started with, to pop into your binder, which will fill up when the next selection comes out in a little while, and then the next and the next, and you build your Academy of Colour. You can pop it all into your binder. You've got the project pockets in there as well, 7 of those that you're going to get. So again, you can track your own progress. You can see how far you've come on your journey, and brilliant as well for, you know, if you just want to delve in for sort of 20 minutes, half an hour into a particular class to start a project and to come back to it later on as well. It's such a comprehensive collection, and honestly, the excitement about this is palpable. Literally hundreds of you with this in your baskets right now, so we know that you don't want to miss a thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of a break. We're going to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets, and then you can come back with, we'll come back with more testimonials. If there's anything else you'd like to add to what we've already said, please do. And any more questions, do get those in. I'll have a look through all of them as we have this break, so we can fire them at Leanne. And then we've got more taster classes coming up in just a few moments' time. Head to the checkouts, and we will be right back.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook. where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Make light work of intricate and delicate die-cutting designs with the Pokey Tool from Crafter's Companion. An absolute essential part of any paper crafter's kit, its precise tip has been designed to release the tiniest pieces to reveal your finished results with absolute precision. And to make sure your finished project is perfect, each Pokey Tool has a rubber tip protector, so there's no risk of damaging your die-cutting design or yourself. The Crafter's Companion Pokey Tool is such an essential craft item, we've included 2 in each set.
Quick Buy, get yours now.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon. There's so many comments of wonder coming through that I'm seeing. So many of you during that break as well were picking your jaws up off the floor at the demonstrations. And don't forget as well that these little taster classes that we're doing here are just that, you know, little 10, 15-minute spots with Leann where you're just kind of learning little hints and tips. Of course, you've got this show to then watch back at your leisure, but invest in the Academy of Colour. You'll then have all of those free classes to come to whenever you choose, whenever you so desire, to come back to, you know, later on down the line when you need a bit of a refresher. I'll encourage you again to ask the questions. Anything that you want to know, please do. Jean just said, those 3 hours go so quickly. Never have I been able to pay solid attention for a solid 3-hour class like I could for Leann's Academy of Colour class. So I know what you mean, like a 3-hour class, you think, what? But obviously you make it very educational, Leann, and very entertaining as well.
Well, do you know, thank you so much. That's so kind. The thing is, I don't try to be entertaining then, which is the sad thing.
There's no song and dance routines in the classes,
there really is no song and dance routine at all. What you're getting is just pure, raw, unedited, unfiltered me.
Cool, blimey.
So that depends whether you can cope with that or not. But so many of you have enjoyed it, and I'm pleased and I'm grateful for that because we're just able to have that lovely experience together.
Yeah.
I just picked out these 2 images just to show you the difference between the grey undercolour. So these are 2 I had prepared. So this is doing the cherry the first way we looked at it, and this is doing it with that grey undercolour that you can see there, which really does give that difference and that depth and quality to it. So don't be afraid to do that and lots of your different colouring when you're using them. Now I'm going to have a look at the tree,
okay,
because I just want to show you now how to get depth and dimension and to layer colour on top of each other by taking each small section as one in its own right. So if you imagine, what a lot of you struggle with or have said you struggle with is knowing where to put the light and shade when you're dealing with something which is multi-dimensional like this. So we're just going to take our green pen and start, and if you think about it, each one of these little clusters are quite spherical in shape. I mean, they've got a little bit of frou-frou going around the edges, but they're still roundish.
A bit of what?
Frou-frou. Bit of fluff.
Frou-frou?
Which is the noise I would make if I was drawing it.
I've never heard that.
Have you not? Well, I mean, that's just what happens. This is what I mean about unedited and unfiltered, Ben. That's the sort of thing you get on the education session, where it's got wiggly edges. So we're going to take the lightest colour, and we're going to have the light source coming in this direction. Okay. Which means it's lighter on the top of the frou-frou pieces. I mean, leaves, foliage, cloudy things, whatever you want to call it. Frou-frou. Yeah, that'll do. So I've got my lightest colour here, and we're just going to put that round there. So that's the start. That's exactly what we did with the cherry. Lightest colour first, so that we've got wet ink, not dry card. Then we've got our darker colour coming in on top, a little bit further. And then we've got our light colour to blend that out. So we go to the edge of the dark and in with the light. Now we start to layer. So we do that same thing for all of the frou-frou pieces. So the next one here, for example, this little one in the centre, is overlying here. So what we're going to do is have the lighter at the top, because where the light and the dark overlap, that's where you create the dimension. So I'll start and colour it in exactly the same as it is.
You're breaking down the frou-frous, aren't you? Breaking
down the frou-frous, dealing with each little bit one at a time. Because I think the other thing that we can be forgiven for doing, which we might do, is try to colour the whole tree in one go. And actually what you do is break it down into smaller pieces, which allows you to identify where you need the light, where you need the shade. And each of these frou-frou pieces, I'm just dealing with them as a separate one-off piece, and I'm applying the same premise for each of the cherries I did to each of these separate areas. And so light first, dark second, light to bring it out.
And that again is just such a great tip, because I know I would be, and I'm sure there's many people exactly the same. You're tasked with colouring in that tree. You would, wouldn't you? Just look at that as a whole and have no clue where to start. But then if you section the frou-frous down, and it becomes instantly, just looking at it, it becomes more manageable.
Absolutely, it does. And so I've got the wrong colour there. Lightest colour here. I've got a couple of trees I can go to, so I'm not going to do the whole tree. You'll get that in the education session. And we'll look at putting the grey undercolour in the back of the tree to really knock that back in the education session as well.
Do you think so? Once you've got these tips that you're giving to us, then, I mean, do you find that more people come to you and say, I find it more difficult to colour nature, or I find it more difficult to colour skin or hair? I mean, once you've got these tips, is this something that you can apply to most everything?
Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can, Ben. And we talk about that again. We talk about how you transition it from a tree to hair in the education session, for example, because the theory is essentially the same. It's just applying it to a different shape of an image. So you can see this is the tree that I continued to finish. And what I did there was use the grey as the undercolour in the very back of the tree, which has knocked that back and brought this forward. So a dark colour will push things into the background, a light colour will draw it into the foreground. And so we've made that tree feel really dimensional by using that grey in the background there to make the foliage feel like it's come forward. And again, just treating each one of those as a separate piece to have the light areas overlapping the dark areas, because by having the light here and the dark there, dark pushes that back and brings this forward. So now this piece looks like it's the furthest forward. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then if you just apply what we did by changing that to have your arrow for your light direction, be it from the left or from the right, from the centre or from above, that changes the 4 different ways that tree looks. Yeah. And you're going to be able to do that by just thinking about where your light is and colouring, breaking that image down into lots of different sections and being able to see how that is going to look. And let me just say, Ben, all of these things that you're seeing me show you here with these little boards that I've got and all of the pieces that I'm bringing in, they're all on that website link that we've got in the box for you. So when you go to that website and you see the education, there's also a resources section for your education. And every one of these boards that I'm showing you is photographed in there and with colours as well. So you can go back to those resources and copy exactly what I've done until you're confident and have that as a reference point to go back to and say, oh, I want my tree to look like it's got light from above. What would that be like? Find it and then, oh yeah, I know how I'm going to do that now. So it's that constant little reminder and just helpful resources for you there all the time. So I'm not going to finish the tree, Ben, because I've got lots I want to show you.
You're going to branch out elsewhere.
Got a boom. Well done. Right, we're going to do flicking, Ben.
Okay.
So before I get to the little dog with fur, we're going to have a look at some flicking on a cylindrical item. Now, in the education session, I will have done flicking on the cylinder, and then show you how to move from the cylinder to a plant pot.
Yeah.
We're fast forwarding to the plant pot.
And there's no fluke, is it? And I think I'm right in saying here, like when you think of the stamps that you get in your Academy of Colour, it's no fluke that you're getting the stamps that you're getting, because they allow you to try all of these different techniques, and the fact that you've got some of your flora and fauna, you've got some hair in there, you've got some of the faces to do the skin. Like you've thought about the different stamps that you're putting in there, so everyone can practice on all of these different things.
Correct.
As well. Yeah.
I've curated the stamps to be the exact shapes and images that you need to be able to practice your skills with these markers and get fab results, and be able to really understand the theory behind alcohol and watercolouring, so that you can apply it to all of the things that you're using at home. And the thing that I've loved to see more than anything in that Facebook group that I was telling you about, Ben, is so many of you are now starting to apply the techniques you've learned, for the people who already have the box, to different images. So images from their stash at home, their stamp collection. Yeah. And everybody said, oh my word, I'd never thought I was going to be able to do it. Yeah. Look what I've managed to achieve. I've had this stamp for ages. And it's brilliant that you can manage to do that and apply the technique. So here we can see with some gentle flicking, with that beautiful brush nib, we managed to create a very cylindrical feel with the highlight, with the light and the dark in the right places on that pot. So we're going to learn how to do that. Now I'm moving on to the dog, because these brush nibs in here are incredible, Ben. And you can vary the width of a flick on your brush nibs by how you hold the pen. So if I hold my pen very upright, so it's very vertical, which I'm just going to, there. So hold it very vertical. If I flick like that, I'm going to get smaller, narrower flicks. Okay. If I angle my pen slightly, so this, I've got about a 45-degree angle. If I angle it, the brush nib, I'm going to get a longer, broader flick. Okay. If I almost lie it down parallel with the paper, so it's comfortable in my hand, I'm going to get very broad, wide flicks. I see. So depending on whether you're doing a small image, a large grass area, the size of the piece that you're colouring will depend on how you angle your hand to control the flicks that you're putting on there. For the little doggy, we will go through in the education exactly how to colour him in using the process of flicking. So you start to understand how to use flicking for colouring, and we will go through in detail how to do that, again using each little section as one section in its own right, like we did with the tree, and then flicking the colour on in two directions, preserving your highlight in the centre, and then just layering the colours on top of each other, which will give you that natural movement in his fur. And you can see all I was doing there was just flicking my pen and flicking my marker to apply the colour. And again, we'll go into this in much more detail in the class that is already there and waiting for you when you get this box home.
It must be so pleasing for you as well, because I say a lot of people have chatted about that Facebook group, but it must be really pleasing for you when you do read comments and you do see pictures of people's cars and colouring where they've kind of moved on a little bit from the Academy of Colour and had the courage to kind of try the techniques on stamps that they've got within their collection. That must make you feel like great.
Honestly, I feel like the day my son got his GCSE results. Do you know what I mean? I feel so proud. Yeah. Or like the first time he wrote his name for the first time. I know that I don't mean to make it sound any more less than it is, but when he first, I feel proud that people have got the confidence to go forward and really enjoy it and to be proud of what they've achieved and pleased with what they're able to achieve.
Yeah.
I think it's just absolutely wonderful, Ben, I do. Now, I would continue with that flicking for the little dog. So much I want to show you, so I'm going to pause there. But when you finish him, this is what he'll be like.
Ha!
And that's just by layering those flicks on top of each other, just, you know, one colour after the next. And I've used 2 markers there. I've used my TN1, TN3, TN5 and TN6 marker, and you'll just continue to layer them up and you'll get that beautiful result. So that's your flicking. I have got some skin to show you.
Oh, okay.
Which you will all want to be able to do, I've no doubt. And again, we've included the perfect portrait in here for you to be able to practice skin and hair. So I'm going to take my 2 markers that I've got to be able to do my skin, and that is this marker for linen and ivory, which is FS7 and SF9, and then I've also got my tan marker here, which is TN1 and TN3. So where we've got this beautiful portrait, to be able to do lovely skin, what you need to do is exactly as we did with the tree. Where is it light and where is it dark? Where will there be a shadow, where will there not be? So there will be a shadow underneath her hairline because her hair is over her face. So this side of her face, under her hair, will be darker than this side of her face, which is not covered. So you know exactly where to start with your darker and lighter colours.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start with my FS7, which is here, and start to get my colour down, make my plan, so I can go around the perimeter there. This is where it's going to be darker. And by the way, her nose is the furthest point forward on her face.
Oh, yeah.
As it is on ours. So that's the lightest, isn't it? The tip.
Yes.
So leave that to last.
Okay.
And then there would be a little shadow down the side of her nose and under her nose.
I literally had to stick my nose out then just
Yes,
to
I
check
see.
that my nose was the furthest point out.
It was very attractive, Ben.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. I was doing this.
Yeah.
It is.
Working it out.
Yeah.
So now I've got my plan in place and I know where my shadow will be. I can take the other side of my pen, which is the lightest, and I can start to bring that shade out. It's going to be lighter on her brow bone. So I can bring that out there.
Yeah.
And then I can take my TN and just put in a little bit more of that shade. So remember, we get our lightest in first for the plan, and then we go in with the darkest where the shadow is. Pop that in because wet ink blends much better than dry card. And then we take our colour again, blend that out. And because of the beautiful brush markers, brush nibs that we've got on here, there we have amazing skin tone very quickly and easily on that face. And you can see you've got the shine on her brow bone and you've got the shine on the tip of her nose there. For her neck, it would be darker underneath because her face is coming over her neck, so there's a chin's causing a shadow.
Yeah, I know that problem.
Me too. I was trying to be polite.
Some people's shadow's bigger than others.
Yeah, but there we go. So you can see how that brings that in, and you can see how the shadow is there. And then we can give her a little bit of a blush. And guys, I don't do it this fast on the education.
No.
This is very, very fast, just so you can see what we're talking about. On the actual education, it's much, much slower.
But look at what you can get to. So this will be you down the line doing it this quickly at home. This is what. So if you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I'd never be able to do that," the whole point is, yes, you will. This is what the Academy of Colour is going to allow you to do to gain the confidence so that you will be going at pace and things will become second nature, won't they? It's almost like when you learn to drive a car, initially you're really thinking about changing gear, aren't you, and mirror signal manoeuvre, but the more that you do it, the more it just becomes second nature, and I guess it's the same with colouring.
So now we're going to give her a cheek, so we're just going to chisel that in, and so that's going to come from the side, and then we take our lightest colour and we just soften those edges. And there, it's magically blended that in, so she's just got a chiseled cheek. And you're going to be able to do this yourself. It really is not difficult at all. We can do her lip, give her a nice coral lip, so we're going to leave it a little bit lighter in the centre. We're going to go out to the darker colour in the extremities. You can even use a different marker if you want to. So it's lighter in the centre. She's got our lovely lip going on there. And then you can put her eye in. Let's give her a green eye. Why not? and the little points on the tip, the very fine point of the brush nib lets you do that. So we've given her a little green eye there. She all starts really to come to life, and she's now ready for us to just be able to do her hair. So it's very, very quick and easy to do, Ben. And when you complete it, this is what she's going to look like. And you're going to be able to do that in that education session. We're going to cover how to do her skin as you've just seen, and then I will take you on a journey to doing her hair at the same time, and that is available for you to achieve exactly that result. Now, not only can you achieve that result, but I've got boards somewhere which I've lost. I'll find them.
All right.
And there's about there's loads of different skin combinations. So you can go through all of the ethnicities, all of the different colour tones, olive, deep tan, very fair, more warm undertone, more cool undertone. We've got lots of skin combinations already worked out for you, a resource on that website.
I mean, if you're inspired already, just think how inspired you're going to be when you get the full classes, when you get the Academy of Colour home and you begin to learn. And as I said, I just want to make sure that if you are sitting at home thinking, like, I can't do that, the whole point is you can, and that's why you'll be buying this today, because this is where you'll be going to. If you're a complete novice, if you're scared of colouring, if you're worried about doing it, you've got the Academy of Colour right now with everything. We'll do another unboxing of this for you in just a little while so you know exactly everything that you're going to get. And then you've got the free classes, 6 hours worth already to watch at your pace, to re-watch when you need to. You know, there's nobody going to be sitting there saying to you, oh, you need to do all 3 hours. If you do want to do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you can do. If you make a mistake, don't worry. You start again. You go back until you get it right, and then you move on to the next piece. It's all there for you, all sectioned out for you. The journey is mapped out for you so that you can become that colourist that you've always wanted to become. This is just the first step this evening. Now, what I want to do just here, whilst we just have a little bit of a break and a reset, is just to show you another clip from one of the classes. And whilst we were looking sort of over the last hour and a half really at the alcohol side of things with the skin colour, this is a little clip from one of the classes on the Academy of Colour where Leann's teaching you more with the watercolour, all about skin tone. So have a look at this.
So first things, we're going to go with the lightest of the skin tone, which is the desert. So damp brush, pick that up, same principle applies as before, add that into the areas where there would be more shade. So we're going in the shaded areas first, which is under the hairline, around the chin, into that area there, under her nose and under her neck. And then we're going to take a little bit of the desert and bring in a little bit more shade. And then to soften that, I'm going to use the blossom. So take a little bit of that blossom, and then to drag that out, I'm going over that there, and then bringing that colour out more into the rest of the face. I've got that in there. I'm not worrying about the hair because I'm going in to do the hair in a second. So I've gone over a little bit into the hair there. It doesn't matter. That'll get covered up when I come to do the hair. And then those colours have all melded in to get a little bit more light and shade in a couple of areas here. What I can do now is use the faux bleaching. So faux bleaching is where you put water on and then you dab with your towel and it takes colour away. So you see that instantly added light to her forehead. I can do the same down here, the side of her face. And then that has added a little bit of light there. There we go. And then just to shade that in and give her a little bit of blush, you can use that same blossom colour with the same technique we had before and give her a little bit of a blush on that side there.
these, the clever thing about the interchangeable dies is the fact that you've got all of the different scenes to be able to build these up, but the actual sort of creator card dies, if you like, within the set come in 2 pieces, so you can change the shape of these. You can intersperse the dies to change the actual background themselves as well, should you wish to. But the point is, look at the cards that you're able to make. Look at that beautiful frame on the tropical paradise there. But then if you do want to create those more sort of theatre style cards where you pop in the scenes and create the depth and dimension, look at that. These are absolutely phenomenal and really, really simple to do. This one here, yeah, is the one that Sara made right at the top of the show. You look at that and think to yourself, wow, that is, you know, a phenomenal looking card. Must have taken ages to create. Sara did that at the top of the show. Literally took her about 5 minutes, I think. And that's the whole point with this collection. You can create these amazing scenic cards in next to no time. Here's another one of Sara's, actually, that's been popped in the box using that beautiful fairy glade. She used, actually, with this particular card, some of the colours from the Academy of Colour as well. I'll show you the boards of all of the dies that you're going to get within this collection. 6 you're going to get in total, but 59 elements. And as you can see, the clever thing about these is the fact that you've got the almost like the creator card dice here to build up the scenes, but they're split in 2, as you can see, so you can change them depending on what the card shape might be. If you decided for whatever reason, you know, maybe you wanted the trees on this side, but then you wanted the more sort of bare trees this side, then you've got the ability to do that as well. And then you've got all of the different characters to create all of the different layers, the depth and dimension with these. Phenomenal. Just the take up on these earlier was off the chart, thebomb.com, and so clever. We can get your take on these, Leann, actually, whilst you're here as well. Such a clever concept, because I suppose we've seen dies before where you can build up scenes, but here I just love the fact that you can adapt these. You can adapt these to lots of different styles of card and shapes of card as well.
Absolutely. And when we were developing these, Ben, what we wanted to do was give you the ability to create 4 different levels of creator card, but with a couple of dies. And that's what we've managed to do there, because they're interchangeable. So when you were looking at the one with the trees and the first one, the oval one.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Thank
you, Ben. So you don't have to use them like that. You could use the left-hand side of the tree and the right-hand side of the trunks together. Yeah. And then the opposite way around. And that gives you, in effect, 4 different variants on that tunnel book, which gives you all of the customization, but really uses the metal space really, really well, so that you're not having to pay to get that effect 8 different dies to achieve it, if you see what I mean, Ben.
Yeah.
And the amount of depth and dimension you can get on these, the customization of these scenes, I think is incredible. And I love the fact that we've got the different shapes there. So we've got the square and the oval. And can I just say, if you're getting the bundle, not only are you able to do that in the one die set, but you can do it between the shapes.
Yes.
So, because we've kept the sizing perfect. So if you wanted the toadstool, the seed head, say, from
that's the fairy glade.
The right-hand side, I think they are, on the fairy glade, with the previous board that you had, square, and you wanted to put the left-hand side, yes, some tropical leaves with it, if you wanted to be the master of your own destiny. All of those work in that shape interchangeably too.
Yeah.
So it just gives you loads of flexibility, Ben.
And what I love, again, I'll just quickly show you. I mean, watch the show back, because the concept suite on this was phenomenal. But the fact that you've got the ability, look at that one, that's another one that Sara made, like dome front cards. You've then got the ability to be able to create almost like, as I say, like your theatre style cards with all of the scenes there slotted in, which I think is brilliant. But then if you don't necessarily want to make these particularly 3D, look, you can just pop the scene in, add the frame, and then add a little bit of a decorative border with the leaves on there as well. I'll just very quickly show you this one, because this was...
I would use that as an alternative wedding card, you know, with the 2 little flamingos looking at each other like that.
As a wedding card?
Yeah, like as an alternative one, especially if somebody's getting married abroad. And I'm saying that because I was at a wedding fair with my sister the weekend. She was showing her wedding cakes, etc. Quite a few people were coming to say, oh, I'm getting married abroad, but I'm going to have a party later, so I need a cake. And we'll have a cake when we come back and have a party, but we're getting married abroad. Somebody's getting married abroad in the tropics. Wouldn't it be lovely to have that as a really gorgeous wedding card with those 2 little flamingos kissing there?
No,
is it just me?
Well, no, it's very... Very romantic, yeah.
Is it a little bit too out there, Ben?
No, I quite like it. I'm just kind of disappointed when I think, oh no, don't say that, Ben. Well, forget, I was going to say, well, I'm disappointed when I think of my wedding, because we didn't go anywhere tropical. Well, no, we did go on a nice honeymoon. We didn't get married anywhere, you know, particularly.
Well, you had more than me. I mean, I got married in Durham City, which is lovely.
It's a lovely city.
Lovely city, beautiful church, St Oswald's. But that's all we could afford. So our honeymoon was 2 days in York.
York's nice.
Not Hawaii.
It's not Hawaii. Although, having said that, I was only in Hawaii for, I think, about 3 days. I suppose 3 days in Hawaii beats 2 days in York,
It
doesn't
really
it?
does, Ben. If we're top trumping, if we're rock, paper and scissoring, you won there, you won.
I did.
You did.
Yeah. Can I just say as well very quickly, I must just show you this one, Leanne, because Sara did ask me to show you. This was the card which won demo of the show a little bit earlier on, using the African Savannah set, which was the most popular. Again, lovely way that Sara's built up the scene there, but she just wanted me to particularly point out to you this tree here, because she said you'd appreciate this
The grey undercolouring on that one, Ben, I can see. And doesn't it look so much better than the one on the other side, which hasn't got the grey undercolouring?
Yeah.
I mean, it's lovely,
yeah,
but it's got more depth and dimension, it's got more character, it's really deep and it's rich and it's lush. So yes, you can see how that technique has been applied there, and very, very well.
Yeah, she was honestly like a giddy school kid, she was, when she was showing me that. And again, I point that out for the fact that the Academy of Colour, which we're coming back onto just now, is for everybody. Because I know you guys will look at all of our amazing crafters here, and they are amazing at what they do. And Sara, amazing at colouring. She's still learning. She's still learning stuff from the Academy of Colour, and that's the point. It is for everybody, from beginners right through to people who are much further down the line. That card, by the way, you'll be able to vote on a little bit later on when we do the demo of the day. I cannot believe we are halfway through the show, bang on halfway through, and we are here for, well, what has been, I think, one of the biggest days of the year so far. The anticipation about today has been off the chart. You guys have been so super excited. And particularly for our UK viewers who have been told by our US viewers as to how great this Academy of Colour is. The day is finally here. It feels a little bit like Christmas, really. And I'm so pleased now that particularly our UK viewers are jumping in and grabbing this. If you are somebody, though, who's just tuned in, maybe you've just got back in from work, you knew today was the day, and you're thinking about grabbing this Academy of Colour, let's kind of like reset and go right back to the start and chat all about it and unbox it, because I think, as I say, a lot of people have potentially just tuned in. Leanne, what was the thought behind this Academy of Colour when the whole kind of like concept was developed? What was the kind of thought behind this? Where did you want this to go?
That's a brilliant question, actually, Ben. So what I wanted to do was take everything that you've said to me over the years, every experience you've shared with me, every frustration, every moment where you felt a little bit less than because you couldn't get the results of, or where you didn't feel that you were able, all of those things where you've maybe not felt the confidence or being happy, I wanted to take that away. I wanted to erase it. I wanted you to give that to me and let me own that, and for me to give you all of the confidence to go forward and really enjoy your colouring journey. And that's where Academy of Colour started, which is giving you the tools, giving you the quality, giving you everything you need to be able to follow along with me step by step of the way, using exactly the colours, exactly the pens, exactly the stamps, exactly the card, exactly the paintbrush, every single thing the same as me. And then in support of that, a phenomenal, extensive education programme, which we don't charge you for, which is free, because we want you to have that wonderful experience and to take you on a journey of discovery where your colouring journey starts. And that could be you've never picked up a colouring implement before, or it could be you've tried and you've been frustrated, or you've tried and you've been pleased, but you want to just improve a little bit and go that little step further. And I wanted to just really encapsulate all of that and give you everything you needed to take you on the start of your journey and help you along the way, but hold your hand every step of the way. And that's where we started, Ben, and I think we've managed. I am proud of it. I'm very proud of it, I have to say.
Please say what you said earlier on.
It is, and it's not often I sit here and say I'm very proud of something. I'll say I love it, it's my favourite, it's great. But for this, I am super proud because we have put so much into it, and I think we've achieved it for you, Ben.
Oh,
we've made it really accessible and
Yeah.
gorgeous. So when you open your box for the first time, it's beautifully magnetised. It's a when you don't drop it open. Beautifully magnetised in a really good quality storage box, which could be your storage going forward. You've then got velvet lined trays which display all of the product to you. Keep your card, this is really important. On the back of this card are the instructions of how to get to the education. Follow those instructions and you'll get everything you need on that website. You've got your fabulous markers in there. We've got our, I keep forgetting how many are in, 2, 4,
16.
16, thank you, 32 colours, 16 alcohol, duo colour alcohol markers in there.
Yep.
We remove that layer, and by the way, it nests in, it's got a little lip.
Yeah.
It finds its place, so it's not going to fall, like if I push, it's not going to fall out. It just nests beautifully, it takes its place. So you remove that layer, and you've got this layer here, which is your duo colour aqua, and that's your watercolour pens, and you've got 8 of those 16 colours. You've got your white acrylic paint marker in here for highlights. You've got your spritzer for techniques. You've got your broad brush for techniques, and you've got your detailed paintbrush in there as well. When we remove that layer, our third layer would also house our stamp panels.
Yes.
Our stamp panels and stamps in there, and you will have your first set, which is your technique. We've just seen me use that in the first half of the show. You've then got your alcohol specific stamps and your watercolour specific stamps for all of your education. All 3 of them and all 3 of those white storage panels are in that next layer that you can see there. I've took mine out into my binder. You also get your blending palette, and that's for alcohol and for watercolour. You get your little pile of alcohol marker card to get you started, and you get your pile of watercolour card to get you started. Very important that you've got the right card for the job and that you're not colouring on any random piece that you've got in your stash at home. So we give you the good stuff to start with. And that is everything that comes in that box. Then you've also got this amazing binder, Ben, which is such luxury and high quality. If you've had one of these binders before, you know what I'm talking about. It's this beautiful faux leather. You've got a little window in there for Customization Academy of Colour. What I'm going to encourage you all to do, because this is removable, so you see you can take that out. I want you to all colour something in that size of image that you're very proud of and slot it into the front of that binder. Could be your cherries, could be a butterfly, could be anything you like, but I want you to replace that with something you have coloured.
Yeah.
And then we're going to open this up. You've got your index in here, which tells you where we're starting, duo colour introduction. That's what you're getting in this box that you can see in front of us. And then you can see also a little peek of all of the other boxes that are on their way to you. So we're going to be doing a box on portrait, on flora and fauna, on feathers and fur, on cute characters, and then a box for aqua pencils and wax pencils. And they will expand the skills that you're going to learn in your first box and take you on a further, more specific and targeted journey. Each one of those boxes will be available for you to purchase. We then move along, and we can see we've got our white stamp panels that we've took from the box, with our stamps there appropriate. You've then got little plastic wallets included, which is for your work in progress, Ben.
Yeah.
And we give you one of those for every section. So when you've got your work in progress, or you've got your little reminder pieces that you've copied from the website, that can be in there for you to build your own resource file so that you've got the bits that are important to you very easily accessible. And then you've got an index here for every one of the new boxes that are on their way to you, and there at the back are all of the plastic pockets, one for each of those sections.
Yes.
So you've got every single thing you need and nothing you don't need to have this wonderful experience that you're going to have with the binder and the box, and most importantly, that fabulous, completely free of charge, extensive training program, 6 hours, 10 minutes actually, if I'm going to be precise, because on the watercolour one, I was just like, I'm not finished, we have to keep going. Does everybody mind? And the PUA staff were like, we want to go home. Like, no, we need to finish, I haven't finished. So 6 hours and 10 minutes of education on alcohol markers and aqua markers, already sitting there available for you to access on that website. that is included in the box for you.
Do you know, I've never seen a busier show, and what I love most about this is all of the comments which are coming through from you, and it's lovely that you're all interacting. For those of you that have already maybe bought this from HSN, are telling everybody else who's like buying it today just how amazing not only the Academy of Colour is, but just how phenomenal it is that you're able to access all of the tuition for free. And I think that's one of the biggest things to say, you know, amazing for the fact that, you know, you've got all of the tools here, if you like, but then, you know, you'd almost half expect, wouldn't you, that we'd sort of say, oh, then you need to kind of sign up to this monthly program where you need to pay, you know, whatever it might be each month. But no, the classes are free. Marisol is saying, I love this program. The classes have been amazing, and I've improved so much with just the first two. This is what you guys are saying. Margaret Crook says, thank you so much. I've been so excited to be able to join the Academy of Colour because of my health. I've never been able to go to a class, and now I feel part of one. I mean, that just warms my heart, that does. Because again, yeah, you think, maybe if you're not able to leave the house, you know, maybe you can't go out to go to a class. We bring the class to you now. We bring the free tuition to you so you can do it at home at a time that suits. Mary Pat just says, I'm loving the Academy of Colour. Leanne does an awesome job. Victoria West, I love all that I've learned so far with Leanne and the Academy of Colour. The Facebook group is amazing as well. And just one more for now, or maybe a couple. Miriam says, the education with the Academy of Colour is invaluable. This is what you're all saying. I've loved so much that I can replay the learning of the videos and do it at my pace. Leanne is a fabulous teacher. That's the point. Learn at your pace. And Joanne Madigan, this is a great comment. Joanne says, I got this with HSN. I showed a friend a stamp that I'd coloured, and she was amazed at how nice it looked. And that was the third picture I'd coloured. I'm now making a lot of watercolour backgrounds. So again, we've got there's a few comments I'm reading now, people saying, oh, I've watched the first couple of hours and I'm already seeing an improvement. Joanne saying, by the time she'd done her third pick, people were commenting on how nice her colouring is. So people are seeing results with the classes, like really, really quickly. It's not a case of you have to sit through the whole thing to see results. You'll see the results hopefully quite soon.
Almost immediate, actually, Ben, almost immediate. And I'm loving that because so many people as well in the Facebook group are saying, this is something I coloured 3 months ago, this is what I've just coloured today after I've done the education. And you can see the visible difference, and you are so proud of that, and you're sharing that. I think that's what's making me so proud, Ben, and it's that real feel. I don't want to sound too twee or like soft and warm and fuzzy. However, it's that kind of really warm, soft and fuzzy feeling where I'm sat reading all of that and I can see and feel the joy of the people in that group. It's palpable with how proud they are of the experience and what they're managing to achieve. To know that we have facilitated that for you here at Crafters Companion. If I didn't do another great product in the entire employment of Crafters Companion, I wouldn't mind, because that's enough to watch and see how palpable that is and how proud you are of what you're able to do and the journey that you're going on. You can't put a price on it. And the fact that we're delivering that free of charge with this fabulous box of products, I just think it's phenomenal. I think it's unknown. I think it's revolutionary.
It's true.
Trailblazing.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we're able to do that for you here.
You can get yours right now if you're still on the fence, if you're still thinking, shall I, shan't I? Go for it. You will thank us later. £79.20, $95.20 is the platinum price. And what a great thing. Maybe kind of do some colouring right now and then in, I don't know, a few weeks' time when you've taken some of the classes, contrast and compare, and you'll be amazed, I think, at the results, at how quickly your colouring will improve. Let's see some more little demos. So again, we've only got just over an hour remaining on the show. It's flown by, but Leanne's doing little taster classes in this show. So little sort of 5-10 minute tasters with little hints and tips. What can you show us next, Leanne?
So I'm supposed to be showing you watercolour right now, but there was another alcohol thing I wanted to show you, because we'll do this in the class and I think you're absolutely going to love it. And this is again about making a plan. So remember we talked about taking each part of the tree as a separate piece and how we managed to get that lovely overlaying of colour. The same applies to things like clothing or dresses. And you might find that a little bit intimidating, but what I want to do is show you how to break down an image and make those smaller areas and then get a fantastic result from it. I'm not going to finish the whole thing, but I am going to show you the thought process behind it, and you'll be able to watch the education and get the full experience. Before I do that, I had a little rummage and I found the boards I wanted to show you.
Yes.
So these are fantastic, and these are the resources I'm referring to when I say when you go on the website, we've worked out the skin colours for you and the hair colours so that you can take the markers in your box and achieve these skin colours immediately with the markers in that box. This is a little sneak preview that I'm going to give you now, because the next box, which is focused on portraits, will open up all of those skin tones to you. So we take the markers in the original box, add more, and open up a whole plethora of other options and education. And there's a little sneak peek to a stamp that's coming in that box too. So that just shows you how the journey you're going to go on, we take where you've started and we expand that journey with every new box that we're going to bring out for you. So this is where I'm just showing you how I would make a plan, Ben. So I've got an image, which is a little girl with a dress, and I'm thinking, how on earth do I make that look like that?
How on earth?
How on earth?
How on earth?
Well, this is how. You just make a plan. So I've got a biro. You'll use a pencil at home. And take some of the natural pieces of the stamped image and expand on it. So here's a section here, joining there to there. Here's a section here. Here's another section here, and here, and here. And then what I can also, because that's quite big, I can now split that section into two. So you see, all I've done is expand those areas. I then simply treat each one of those areas as a separate piece.
It's like the frou-frous again.
Like the frou-frous. So this is what I mean. The technique doesn't change. The theory doesn't change, Ben. It's just your application of it into those different areas. So by taking the rule of the frou-frou, you can see how, I mean, that's going to be a thing now, isn't it?
That's how it shall ever be known.
It's going, the frou-frou rule.
Frou-frou rule.
Frou-frou rule. We're able to take each one of these sections and colour it in separately and then get that dimension in that one area. As we build up those areas, one on top of the next, then you will achieve this. So you're simply going to put, you see, I've put the dark in the same place till I get to the halfway mark, and then I vary where it goes. So here it's on the right, lighter on the left. Here's the change point in the skirt, and now we've got the dark on the left going to the right. That gives the movement in this dress, and it makes it so incredibly easy by just putting in your lines, making a plan, and following the rule of the frou-frou.
The rule of the frou-frou,
Yeah.
That's all you got to think about. And again, it sort of computes in my simple mind now when you see it all broken down. Just take it step by step. So from the tree, same sort of way to be able to get the light and shade as you would with the dress. Break it all down, and more of these hints and tips you'll obviously get over the course of all of the classes that you're going to receive in the Academy of Colour. Marisol on Facebook just says, after the first class, I was so excited to use all my alcohol markers. Then after the second class, I wanted to watercolour everything. I couldn't wait for the next class, and I can imagine I'll want to do all of the portraits. That's the thing. Rather than being scared about colouring and kind of thinking, oh, I can't do this, you'll become excited and you'll challenge yourself to move to the next step. And you can see, again, just with these little hints and tips that we're picking up now, you know, the rule of the frou-frou. Already, you're probably thinking to yourself, right, I know where I can go with this. Dawn says, Leanne, you're absolutely amazing. Tackling something like this must be daunting. I can say that I've improved so much. Thank you so very much for doing this. And Cara on Facebook says, your self-confidence grows with these courses. Crafter's Companion do. It's so lovely. Oh, it's so lovely and fuzzy, Leanne, says Cara. Yeah.
I mean, I think my husband probably wouldn't agree. I think he's sick of my sense of humour, to be fair. But it's so lovely that you're all experiencing it for the first time and not and not tiring of it. And I'm honestly not trying. Those things just come out of my mouth naturally.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, that's why we love you.
All right. Okay.
That's why we love you.
Okay.
time for you to jump in and grab this. As we said, we've still got another hour or so to be able to delve into this, to show you more. We're going to look at the duo colours and the watercolours in just a little while. But think about this, as I say, as an investment in you to get to that next step, to be the colourist that you've always wanted to be. I always think about this, you know, when we do like Colour Me Happy shows, and I think a lot of people can get a little bit fearful of colouring, get a little bit confused with colouring, kind of don't know where to start with colouring. If that is you, this is the place to start. This is the way that you're going to begin to gain that confidence, see the improvement, and then, you know, graduate not only from the Academy of Colour, but then graduate into be able to potentially then pick down some of the other pens that you've had on the shelves in your craft room that you've not used because you're scared of using them. I'm talking about things like your aqua pens, your tri-blends, things like your classiques. If you've got those, your illustrators, you're thinking, I don't know where to begin. This is the way to do it. Graduate from this into using those is how I would kind of look at it. And what a great way to be able to do it, because today in the Academy of Colour, 25 markers in both the duo colours of the alcohol and also the watercolour. You're going to get the 40 stamps included in there as well. Again, specifically designed for the cause of making this a journey for you. You know, not just thrown in any old stamps in there. It's been curated for you to make this a journey. You've got the 36 sheets of card in there as well. Not just any old card thrown in. 5x7 cardstock, 18 sheets to be able to use with your alcohol pens, 18 sheets to be able to use with your watercolour pens. You've got the tools in there as well, things like you're seeing on your screen now, like your opaque white marker. You've got your spritzer, you've got your 2 paint brushes in there as well. The one for the bigger one for the backgrounds, your smaller one from all of the detail imaging as well. And then don't forget, you've got your binder included too, to pop all of your stamps into. The 7 project pockets included. You've got all of the binder dividers included as well, and that binder is going to serve really not only as a place that you're going to be popping in your stamps, but as kind of like almost like a log of your journey within the Academy of Colour. And that price on screen again today, just before we go to a break, don't forget, is for the physical goodies that you're going to be getting, okay, to get you started on that journey. £79.20 or $95.20 if you're platinum. If you're looking at this price, by the way, I'll mention it again, and you bought earlier on, you're thinking, I paid more than that. Don't worry. The price that you paid earlier on wasn't the special price. This is, if you did pay that price, we will be in touch with you to recredit your account, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Everybody will pay this price. And remember, all of the classes that you'll have access to, the card is within the box, are free. It boggles the mind. It really, really does. But invest in this today, and you will thank us later on. Let's get to a quick break. We're going to come back and explore more with Leann, but this is your opportunity right now to not miss a thing. Get your Academy of Colour, get checking out, and we will come back in just a few moments' time.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day. Quick Buy. All your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together, and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes, and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We're into the home, straight into the final hour. The last 2 hours have absolutely flown by, and as I said, I feel that I've learnt a lot over the course of the last couple of hours, and hopefully you have too. And just imagine if you've picked up lots of hints and tips which have led you to buy the Academy of Colour just on the little taster classes that we've had. Imagine how much you'll learn on the classes that you're going to get for free as part of the Academy of Colour. We are going to move on now to have a look at the watercolour elements of your Academy of Colour, because don't forget, this isn't just solely based on your alcohol marker colouring. Obviously covers off your watercolours as well. You're going to get 8 of those duo colours in there, plus lots of tools in there, Leanne, as well, to be able to help with that watercolour journey.
Absolutely. So you've got your 8 duo colour markers, we've got our broad and fine tip detail brush, we've got our spritzer, you've got that white acrylic marker which can be useful as well, and you've got your paint palette, and of course you've got all of your stamps. So we're going to start at the very beginning, because it's a very good place to start.
It is.
But because obviously we won't have time in an hour to show you everything, what I've got here is just some boards to show you some examples of what you're going to be able to achieve. So you get, excuse me, what you can see here are watercoloured skin and hair. So we're going to have a look at that. Then we've got all of these different techniques that you're going to get covered. So we've got basic watercolouring, blending more than one colour together, creating light and shade and dimension, using a darker undertone as we did with the greys, you can see there on the lantern, wet into wet colouring. We're going to look at creating a custom colour. We're going to look at portrait and hair. We're going to look at stamping and then spritzing.
Ooh, wow.
We're going to look at stamping and drawing it out. We're going to look at just self-stamping. And then we're going to look at background techniques as well. So you're going to learn to faux bleach, you're going to learn how to do this resist technique, you're going to learn how to work with salt, you're going to learn how to do ombres, how to transition colours, how to get a very clear faux bleach, how to get a more subtle faux bleach. There are so many different techniques that you're going to be able to do with these markers, and those boards are just a soup son of what it is that's going to be able to achieved, and of course we won't get around to it all in this show, but I'll show you some little snippets of that as we go along. So a watercolour marker works differently to an alcohol colour marker, and what we definitely need is our palette that's included in the box. So this is my plastic paint palette that I've included, which we're going to use with our aqua markers a lot. We've then got our large background brush and we've got our detail brush. So to start colouring, we always need water. So with Spectrum Duo Aqua, you always need a pot of water. And what you also need is a good supply of kitchen roll, as it's called in the UK, and paper towel in the US of A.
Yes.
So in case, which country you're in, kitchen roll or paper towel, a good supply of this. And that's because when we're painting, we only ever paint with a damp brush, not a wet brush.
Right.
So as long as you've got those, you are good to go. Now you'll see I've got my circles again, and I've got my circles because we're going to practice exactly the same techniques we practiced with our alcohol colouring. Because with watercolouring we still need to know where the light is, we still need to know where the dark is, and we still need to be able to decide where we're applying those colours. So I am going to use my palette, and my palette is going to be where I scribble down my colours and where I will pick my colour up from. So you can see I've put down my 2 colours there. Now, just want to point this out to you. This is the quality of the paint palette we've included here. This isn't just a cheap piece of acetate we've put in. You can see how it's grabbing that colour and leaving it solid. It's not sissing and bubbling and resisting and moving away. That's so you can get good use of the colour you put down there, and so you don't have to overload your palette and it doesn't go everywhere. It's holding on to it.
Yes.
So this is why this is included in the box for you. We're then going to use our detail paint brush. We're dipping it in the water, and then we tap it on the towel because we want a damp brush, not a wet brush. If it's a wet brush, I'll show you what will happen. You lose complete control. So always a damp brush. Then I'm going to take my lightest colour, exactly as we did with the alcohol marker, but using the paintbrush and dipping it into the water.
Yep.
We spread that initial colour, that light colour out, and then preserving our highlight at the bottom here, so not having any colour. And then we're going to, I can intensify that a little bit if I want to, so just add a little bit more colour in. And then we're going to go, notice I clean my brush every time. Have you noticed how I'm doing that?
Yes.
I tip my brush in and I bring it back to my paper so that I've always got a clean brush. If you don't clean your brush, you just end up spreading more and more and more of the same colour around. And then I pick up my darker colour, come in there to where it would be darker. You can see I'm easy to move that around. So that's my shade. Now what I do is stop and clean my brush, because if I don't, all of this dark ink I've got on my brush will just fill that whole space. So clean my brush, come back in, and now I can manipulate that dark into the first layer of light colour. If I hadn't cleaned my brush, I would have just intensified that whole thing, and I wouldn't have that light shade. Now I can bring this out a little bit lighter to my preserved highlight at the bottom. Pick up a little more of the lighter colour if I want to add that in. Once that's enough and I'm happy with it, clean my brush again, and then take that out into the preserved highlight. And then clean my brush, and that's what I've managed to achieve. So it's constantly cleaning your brush and using your different colours that allow you to achieve that. I'm going to show you what would happen if I didn't constantly clean my brush, and then you'll understand what I mean by that. Because you could be forgiven for thinking, why do I need to do that, Leanne? I'm just going to keep going.
So this is going to go wrong?
This is going to go wrong.
Right.
This is what you don't want to happen. So if I start with a little bit of the light, and I add that in as I did before, preserve my highlight, exactly as we did before. Don't clean my brush, so I'm not going back into the water. I'm going to pick up the darker colour, bring that around, join up the two, try and go back into my light colour. I've left my dark colour on my brush, pick up the light colour, just darker, a little bit of shade, oops, a bit more water because it was drying out. Don't clean my brush. Go back into the light. Want to bring that out. Bit more water because it's gone dry. Don't clean my brush. Bring that out. And I've actually got more of a solid colour. Now there is a bit of difference.
Certainly not as dramatic
but
though.
It's not as dramatic as the first one.
No, nowhere near.
So you need to keep cleaning your brush to make sure that you get that lovely change in colour when you're watercolouring. So that's step one. That's really, really important. Now what I'm going to do is stamp a floral and show you how to apply that technique to colouring another image. I like to clean my palette. You don't have to. You can let that dry on there, come back to those colours and reuse them later. So if you remember where they are and you want to, you can keep drying them and not clean them off. For the course, I always clean it off because I never want to contaminate more than one colour. Okay, so I'm going to now stamp a flower. Let's pick, which flower, let's pick this one.
Do you know one thing I don't think I've ever asked you, and I might have done, but I've forgotten if I did. Like, when did your love of colouring begin?
When did my love of colouring begin?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever asked you that question.
I can't remember not loving colouring. So some of my fondest memories are getting the big packs of felt tip pens at Christmas.
Yeah.
With 500 colours in, probably an exaggeration, but you know, like the 100 or 200 pens.
I remember the ones.
If I got a big pack of 100 felt tip pens for Christmas, I was the happiest little girl alive. That's what I wanted. And coloured pencils. And I have very early and very fond memories of sitting with my mum with a page each and colouring.
Yeah.
And I can't remember never not doing that.
Like the jumbo colouring books.
With the jumbo colouring book, absolutely, in a page each.
Yeah.
So I can not remember a time when I didn't love colouring, Ben. It got serious when I started crafting. So that was watching Jane Nesterenko on Create and Craft, probably 15 years ago. And she was doing some glitter mandalas and some colouring with some crystal pens and things like that, and I just thought, oh, I want to try that, I want to do it, and so bought the stuff, and I've been completely addicted to colouring ever since.
Is it something that you get to do a lot of for your own pleasure?
Yes,
or you do?
I love it. It's very relaxing.
But do you get to do a lot of it within your kind of like, because obviously you're a very, very busy lady, so do you get to do a lot of it?
Not as much as I'd like.
No.
Not as much as I'd like, but when I do have some time, if I've got an afternoon and I put it aside, I think I just need some escapism, it would be the colouring that I would want to do. So I'm applying the same techniques as before. I've put a couple of colours on my palette, and in the education we go into this in much more detail. Dampening my brush, taking the majority of the water off on here, and then I'm going to start colouring my image. So I've got my lighter colour, and we're going to take, no, excuse me, we're going to take the Laura Frou Frou.
Yes.
We're going to take the Laura Frou 2 and deal with one little area at a time. You don't have to keep to such small areas actually with watercolour as you do with alcohol. You can go a little bit wider if you want to. And then I'm going to pick up the darker colour here. So you see I started with the lighter, I've gone in with the darker over the top, and I'm just picking up the colour and bringing it onto that flower, and then I'll clean my brush, pick up the lighter colour and blend that out, and then I'll clean my brush completely and only with water bring that out again, and that gives us that much lighter transition of colour on the petal. See how that happens there. A bit darker in the centre and drag the colour out. Watercolouring, Ben, is actually so much easier than alcohol colouring. It's the thing that most of you were really scared about. I was going to sneeze.
Oh. Bless you.
Me.
Bless you.
Excuse me again. Oh, sorry,
One more?
it's gone.
No, that's it. Just the two. What was I going to say? No, it's funny if you say it, because a lot of people seem to think that, watercolouring is sort of more forgiving, and I think the comments that I've read, certainly since I've been here, people feel potentially more brave to start with watercolouring than with alcohol markers.
That's good. That's what I would hope for, because it definitely is the place to start, because basically you can plop any old colour down and it's going to look okay.
Plop it down.
You know, because watercolouring can be quite loose and quite interpretive, and doesn't have to be perfect by the very nature of the beast. So, you know, really not mattering what you do or where you pop your colour, you're still going to get, you know, really quite impressive results, Ben. Excuse me. As you can see, I'm doing with that floral there. I'm just looking for my finished example. Here it is here. So you would continue doing that, and I've done it in a different colour here. And then once that's dried a little bit, so I like to dry in between. I must just show you this top tip as well.
Yeah.
If I keep adding more and more on that, because it's wet and I'm adding more colour, it's just going to keep spreading the colour around, because that's what the water does. So if you want to intensify the colour, dry it.
Keep the lovely comments coming through. I'll read some more of those in just a second. There's a brilliant comment come through from Katie Wilson, which I'll read very shortly, about making the Academy of Colour great for date nights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear about that.
I can tell you now if you want.
Yeah.
She just says the Academy of Colour. I never thought we'd be going here with the Academy of Colour, but this is great. The Academy of Colour also makes great date nights. Hubby and I had a lot of fun with class number 1.
Wow.
We have not done class number 2 as a date, but we plan to. I mean,
Well,
did you have that in mind when you created this, that we'd be doing date nights?
I did not have that in mind, but you know what? I'm pleased to have been of service.
Hey, no, but this is the thing. If it brings you together, if colouring brings you more together as a couple, and you know it's quality time, that's what it's all about. I mean, I think that is absolutely brilliant. And Pam Patton, the Academy of Colour. Pam Patton says, Ben, please can you tell Leann I've taken the first 2 courses with her using my Academy of Colour, and I was able to use my new colouring skills last week on a project. Thank you, yay, says Pam Patton. So already
Pam,
people are taking their knowledge out into their own projects.
Brilliant. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much. That's the sort of message I love to hear, because that's what the system's about. That's why we've done it. That's why we're doing the 3 hours of education. That's why we're taking the time to do that for you. Now, what you can see here is, because I've dried it, excuse me, and I'm going back in with the darker colour, you can see that it's really allowed me to intensify that colour. So if you never dry it in between the layers, you just keep moving colour around, and you might be getting frustrated by not getting the difference in the light and shade and the dark. And that's just because all you're doing is constantly diluting and diluting and diluting by going with a wet brush in the same colour. By drying it and then going in with the same darker colour over the top, we're able to lay that and get some intensity of colour in there. So that's how you would go in and colour just an image directly. When it's all done,
wow,
that's what you're going to be able to achieve. Use your white marker for your little flashes, your acrylic marker, that's what we've done there.
The comments still coming through, left, right and centre. Barbara, who kick on, hopefully I said your surname right, Barbara, on YouTube says, the classes are fabulous. I love my Academy of Colours. I've learned so much. I cannot wait for the next class. Feel free as well, might not get time tonight, but still genuinely would love to see whether, I know we've obviously got, if you join the Academy of Colour, you've got the Facebook group, haven't you? More details about which you'll find once you join up. And I know loads of you share your pictures there, and you share your comments, and you share your questions, and it's a really great community. But do feel free always to send us your projects as well. I know a lot of you interact with me via my Facebook page. Honestly, I love to see what you've been up to. I love to hear what you've been up to as well. And same with Leann, you know, we've all got our own pages. If you go on Facebook, you'll find us. So if you look for me, for example, Ben Moseby, CC, same for Leann. So it's our names basically with CC after. There you go. And the same on Instagram as well. So anytime that you want to share any of your projects, please feel free. We love to see them. And particularly with something like this, you know, it would be great to sort of see where you are, and then maybe in a few weeks' time where you've got to, so that we can kind of almost like chart your journey with you. I find that fascinating, you know, to see how it works for you. Sara Kay just says, I'm scared of watercolouring. I feel much more comfortable with alcohol markers. Again, the great thing about the Academy of Colour is, if you're scared of one or the other, everything's covered off with the classes, and indeed if you're scared of both, even more of a perfect reason to get this, because you'll learn very quickly that you needn't be scared. It's all very achievable, it's all very doable. You can become the colourist that you want to become. It's all about the education, it's all about the encouragement that you need, and it's all about the inspiration that you need as well. It was like Sara said earlier on, actually. She, you know, it was almost a bit like she felt a little bit nervous about the colouring tip, like Leann was showing you earlier on, getting the darker shades, using the grey and the green, as Sara said earlier on. She kind of said that she felt like it almost just makes you go, it gives you that sort of push to do it. It's like, come on, there's nothing to be scared about, nothing to be worried about. Get in there, give it a go. What's the worst thing that can happen? You don't get it right the first time. You rewind a little bit with Leann during the class, and you go again. And you keep practicing until you get it right. You do it in your own time. It's not like you're sat in a class with 30 other people all watching you and they've all done it and then you move on and you miss out. That's the point. You do it in your own time, at home, at your own convenience, and it makes it far less scary. Helen says, I've just ordered it. Well done, Helen Collins. She says, my grandson is into colouring and he surprised me when he started talking about blending colours. And like we said, this is for everyone, for you, for the kids, for the grandkids as well. We're loving it so much that you guys are loving this collection. Now, we're going to go back. By the way, in case a few of you were asking earlier on, why did Leanne have a bottle of bleach / toilet duck on the counter? Well, if you were wondering that question, you're about to find out.
Yes, not this minute, but soon.
Soon.
Yes, because we're getting to the part where we're going to do the exciting bleach stuff. Before we do that, I want to show you just how to do a quick and easy background and to do some resist, and then we're going to do some stamping and some spritzing. Lots to show you, and again, full tutorials of this all in the education. This is just little mini tasters for you. Mini tasters of the sort of thing you're going to be able to do. So what I've got here is one of those sentiment stamps from the collection, and I've heat embossed it with a white embossing powder, which you can see there. I've then got my palette. My palette is still here. Here's my palette. And I've got a couple of different colours of marker. So I've got the blue, and I've got the green, and I've got a yellow. They're all here. There we go. So I'm going to just scribble these colours down onto my palette because I'm going to want to pick them up. So I've got some of the nice dark green, I've got some of the lush green, I've got some yellow on here, and I've got some of my deeper blue. Okay, so they're the colours I'm going to work with on my palette.
Fab.
And on here now, I'm just going to prime this. I'm using my big background brush now. And so all I'm going to do is wet that, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm wetting it. Again, taking off a significant amount of the water, just dabbing it so it's damp, not wet. And I'm brushed that over the card. That's just primed it. Priming it just means getting it ready to receive the ink that I'm about to put on. Then I'll get a bit more water, excuse me, on the brush. And I'm going to pick up, let's start with the dark blue. Why not? And I'm just going to dab that in the centre. So this is all about being incredibly random. So dib, 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 dab.
Dib, 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 dab, dab, dab.
And you can go in, I mean, you can just go in some different places. Then I'm going to clean the brush, and I'm going to pick up another colour and pop that in. And clean the brush again. I would be constantly changing my water at home too, because you don't want it to be too contaminated. So pick up another colour, pop that green in there, and maybe clean the brush here so I can get the yellow. Pick up the yellow, dab some of that in.
Ooh.
And at this point, when they're all mixing, I'm going to stop and dry it.
Okay.
And I clean my brush again, and then I get my heat gun out and dry. And it's really important in between each of these layers to dry, because if I just keep adding water, I lose the definition and I just make it all into a muddy puddle.
Yes.
So to get the layers of colour and to get it to start to look really quite effective in terms of the technique, what you need to do is to keep drying it in between. I'm going to add some more of these colours that I want onto my palette. There we go, some more of the colours onto my palette that I've just used. And then I'm going to start again. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the blue, a bit of water, a bit more of that in the centre to deepen that up.
Okay.
Have that there, so that the sentiment really stands out. Clean my brush again. Clean my brush again, and then pick up, let's go with a darker green. Pop that in here. Just lots of splashing and sploshing, Ben. Nothing too, don't worry about being random. Lay the colours up. Keep doing it. And you can see, this is not technical.
This is my kind of crafting. This is splish, splash, splosh, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not technical or skilled at all. And then the yellow, why not? And then I want a lot more of that blue in there, so I'm getting more of my blue. I'm going to really pop that in, dry it again.
Yeah.
It's really important to keep drying in between the layers. to start building it up. And then I'll fast forward. I'll fast forward to another one in a second so you can see. So dry again and then do the same again. So pick up your colours, splash them on in different areas. So you can see how I'm doing that there and how that's starting to really layer up and intensify the colour. When you've done that a few times, dry it finally.
I know you've just splish, splash, splosh there, but the kind of finished result does look like you've sort of done that in a very organised manner.
In an organised manner, yes, it does. And so once you finish doing that and you've dried it, and you've done several layers, you get that kind of intense effect.
Yeah.
And you can see, because I've done several layers and I've dried it in between, you get that real intensity. Once it's very dry, just take a piece of dry kitchen towel and rub over. That takes any excess ink off your sentiment and allows you to create that lovely, real kind of resist random watercoloured background.
Yeah.
So that's another technique that we'll go through in a bit more detail in the education. Would you like to see another one?
Oh, absolutely.
So this time we're going to do some stamping. So I'm back to another piece of paper towel now. I'm going to use this green and purple. I've got a cold. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, we're nearly done.
I had a cold on the education in the watercolour, actually. There's something...
You?
Yeah, I did. They were bringing me lemp sips and all sorts. They were really looking after me, which I was very grateful of. Right, so what I'm going to do on this stamp is use my pen and colour directly onto the stamp. And I'm using my pen at a 45-degree angle, and I'm just stroking that colour on there. And then I can use the other side. Get some more intense colour on there. There we go. There and there. And then I can use the green for the leaves. And you know what, for this technique you do not need to worry about getting it into too many perfect places. This is a very loose technique. All you're worried about is getting a bit of colour on there.
Could you still use sparkle pens over what you've just done, says Cara?
Yep.
Yep. And Sarah Kay just wants to know the watercolour paper that you got in the box. So I guess if you run out, she says, is that the same as the watercolour card that we can get separately?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to put a little bit of a tip on there and on there. There we go. So there we go. That's all done. I've got my ink onto my stamp, and then we're going to do the ha, which is ha. Ha. So that's, you're going to need to see me. So you need to go ha, which just is enough warmth and moisture to activate the ink. So once you've done that, we then stamp.
Is that the huff technique?
That's the huff technique.
Oh, okay.
And that is where you get that beautiful image. That's ready for a card now. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to do one more. I'm just going to quickly do one more, Ben, because I've got a couple of things to show you. I'm going to colour it up quickly.
Is this the same stamp again, sorry?
Sorry, same stamp again.
Yeah, same stamp again.
Sorry, I had that out of vision. And I'm just loosely repeating where I had the colours. I'm not being too worried or pedantic about it, to be honest, Ben. Just so I can get the colour down for speed. Okay, I've got my eye on the clock and everything I want to show you.
Just over half an hour left.
Okay, so there's another one.
Wow, okay.
And actually I want one more, which I'll talk to you about in a second.
Okay.
So for the first one, what we can do, we can just leave it like that, and that's great. Or we can dry it slightly, which sets a little bit of the ink. And then with a damp brush, we can just pounce. So with a very damp brush, this is a detail brush, so we're taking a lot of the excess water off. We just then do this. And what that does is drag out enough of the colour.
Yeah.
Keep cleaning your brush in between when you come to the next area to pounce. Clean your brush.
Yeah.
Take most of the water off. Clean your brush. Most of the water off.
So it's just a little dab in the water
Just
every
a
time,
little
isn't
dab
it?
in the water.
Yeah. So it's just filling it in, isn't it?
And it fills it in. You can drag that colour
Yeah.
out. And so what you end up with there is the impression of a watercoloured image. Very, very quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to do that and you want it to be a little bit more expressive, you can spritz. So on this one, we're going to not do the drying or the dabbing. We're just going to take our spritzer, our water spritzer, and just aim it at the stamp and spritz. And what you'll see is the ink.
Oh, such a cool effect.
The ink, it's magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that. And so we can do the same here. And depending on how close you hold it will be the effect. So this was quite far away.
Yeah.
If I go closer on this one, you'll see how it's much more, how it moves straight away. So you can get a small effect like this, or you can put a lot more water and get it to move more. When it starts moving too much and you want it to stop, dry it.
That's why I love watercolour and watching you guys work with it, because of all of the different effects that you can create and all of the sort of, almost like randomness that you can create with all of the different hints and tips.
Absolutely, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So there we go. That's that one. Now, we've still got the ink left on this stamp from before. So what we can do is, with our spritzer, do what's called a perfume waft. So, do you know what a perfume waft is, Ben?
Well, so, I mean, I know sort of what a perfume is, just like a...
Yes. So
like
when you go to a department store and you
Yeah.
walk past all the sales assistants and every single one of them gets you in the eye with a new bottle of perfume. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
when you walk past and you come out smelling of 47 different things,
Yeah.
that's the kind of waft you want to do here. So you want it quite high and loose. You don't want to be spritzing water at it close like this. You just want it a mist of damp air over the top with your spritzer.
I got told off for wafting the other day.
Did you?
Before Christmas. I wasn't in like a particularly expensive shop, but I was just sort of spraying it, and then I got told off by the lady, and she gave me a little card to put it on, because apparently you're not supposed to just...
You're not now.
No.
I do though.
Oh dear.
Sorry guys. So you see there, I've got another full impression by applying no more ink to my stamp. And I can do it again. Another little perfume waft. And then do another stamp. And they'll get less, but you'll get 2 or 3, maybe 4 out of one inking. And then with that, what I can do is still take my spritzer in and do the whole
That's so
spritz
cool.
and get a beautiful background.
Yeah.
And then with all of these, I've created that wonderful effect. Each one of them are unique and different and can all be used. And what you get then is the ability to create examples like this. So that's creating the full background with that technique. That's the topper in the centre. Here it's more of a set topper. These are examples that I actually did in the class. This, I must show you, because this is what happens if you drop a little bit of ink somewhere and you were like, oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
You can fix it by doing the splash. And this was Laurie, one of our design team members, said she does this when she gets a mistake somewhere and she wants to hide the fact that she's made a mistake. She puts a couple of colours down on her palette, takes her detail paintbrush, really wet it, pick up some of the colour once it's really wet, use your finger and just tap in the direction. So if you can look at me for a second. Sorry guys. You're going to tap your brush, hit your finger in the direction of your piece of art. When you do that, this is what will happen.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you can clean your brush, pick up a new colour.
What's that called? The splat technique?
Splat.
Splat it on.
And what that does is fix any of the issues. So it makes it look like you meant to do it. And then you get a lovely topper with all of that on, with that loose thing, and it really does elevate it and bring it to that point. When you've done it really loose, like this, you can ink up your stamp in a black ink and overstamp it.
Wow.
And that brings the detail back in.
Yeah.
So what you've got then is the loose watercolouring in the background and the detail of your stamp over the top. And all you've had to do is stamp it twice to achieve that. So many different things you can do with a pen. It's absolutely fabulous. And we go into a lot of them in detail in the education classes.
Wow, what a 2.5 hours this has been. And I think, Dawn Braddock, you've summed this up brilliantly with your comment just now on Facebook. And if you guys have been amazed by what you've seen, I feel like I have learned so much. I always do when Leann's in the studio, but particularly tonight as well. And Dawn goes on to say, if you are amazed by what you're seeing here, the lessons are just even more amazing, and that is the point. And whilst these are little sort of mini bites, if you like, you know, the little mini sort of snacks, little tasters, you get like the full 3-course meal when it comes to the classes. You get everything that you need and more. Free, don't forget, with your Academy of Colour, there for you to do at a time to suit, at your own pace, and that's the brilliance of this as well. We'll talk more about the actual Academy of Colour in just a second, but before that, just wanted to show you a few pictures which you guys have sent through. So a few people following Leann's instructions and guidance, taking those lessons. This was Joanne actually, who messaged in a little bit earlier on, saying that she'd, where was Joanne's message? Oh, I remember reading it, Joanne, but just saying that you'd bought from HSN, I think you said, and how much you'd love taking the classes, and that you've now kind of taken what you've learned out into other projects as well, which is absolutely amazing. We love that so much. And look at Susie here then. So we saw this little doggy who comes with your Academy of Colour as well. I mean, great, this, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah.
And amazing that you could watch one class and achieve that quality.
And Maricel Cueto, hello Maricel, always read your lovely comments, and you really have been going to town. Again, recognising all of these stamps, a lot of them you've seen on the show tonight as well. Love the fact that you're obviously getting to grips with it and practising, and well, doing brilliantly by the look of it, Leann.
That's phenomenal, and I love, we see all of these things in our Facebook group where you're showing your journey and your experience and following along the education pieces that we've done, and the quality of the images that you're producing are already able to just be cut out and put onto a project. I mean, here's another example. Absolutely phenomenal progress.
Yeah, and this is, as I say, what we want to see. It's amazing to see these on the show right now, but keep us in kind of touch with how you're getting on and with your progress. Remember to join that group, the Facebook group, the Academy of Colour group, when you get involved with this, so that you can share your pictures with everybody else. Because the thing is that not only will you be able to get, you know, a great reaction from all of your sort of friends and peers, if you like, but also you'll be able to get hints and tips. Maybe you'll see somebody's card or project that they've created and you'll think, oh, how did they do that? And you'll be able to kind of inspire each other as well. And I think that's the whole point of this as well, isn't it? The fact that you're going to get all of the inspiration from the classes that you're going to get with Leann, but then that's going to then start a conversation amongst you all as well about other things that you're doing, and you'll start inspiring each other too, and it's almost like you're kind of egging each other on, if you like, along your journey within the Academy of Colour. Don't forget again, this is available for you this evening, and this is just the start of that journey. I know a few of you have been chatting about future editions, future kits, of course, which will take you on the next steps. They will be available over the course of the next few months, sort of across the next year, potentially, that you'll be able to add to all of these and you know, kind of go on that next step of the journey. But this is where you get started, right here, right now, this evening. You get your Academy of Colour with the 25 markers, the duo colours, incorporating your alcohol techniques, incorporating your watercolour techniques as well. Love the fact too that if you were loving all of the demos that you just saw then with Leann, with the different techniques, you've got your spritzer in there, you've got your paint brushes included in there too, you've also got your opaque white marker in there, so everything is included. 40 stamps too. So again, you saw some of the pictures, the picture that Maricel sent in, you know, the picture that we saw that Susie had drawn. Those stamps all been beautifully curated into this box so that you've got them there on that journey. 40 of those included. You need the card, which is going to give you the best results. 18 sheets of your watercolour card, 18 sheets of your alcohol card as well in the 5x7 size, and that binder, of course, too, where you're going to be able to pop all of your stamps, kind of like log your progress as well, see how you're doing, because you're going to get the pockets in there as well, 7 of those project pockets, and all of the dividers included in there as well. This is just the beginning, and it's such a brilliant way to be able to do it. The journey starts right now for under £100, under $120. Platinum price is off the chart, thebomb.com, to quote Sara. £79.20, don't do it quite as well as she does. $95.20, and let's just reiterate this again so that you know it 100%. The classes that you will then get access to, you're not paying a premium for. You get the classes for free. Almost unheard of, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, you would be expecting to have to pay a subscription fee. Nah, you've got those classes for free. Get the kit, follow the classes at your leisure, at your pace. There's already over 6 hours of tuition waiting for you to start your journey. Make that start right now by getting this in your basket and checking it out. We will come back with a final wrap up for you in just a few moments time, but get to the checkout. Do not miss out on what is going to be an absolute game changer as far as your colouring is concerned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Make your die cutting tools last as long as your love for crafting with the Gemini Accessories clear cutting plates. Your metal dies are put under lots of pressure with each pass through your Gemini die cutting machine. So to make sure they cut crisp, clean, delicate designs for years to come, you need to look after your dies, and that's where the Gemini Accessories clear cutting plates come in.
Quick Buy, get yours now. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Achieve crisp, precise, and perfect die cutting results every time with the Gemini Accessories plastic shim. The idea behind the plastic shim is that it creates a thicker plate combination, offering an even more precise die cutting result with each pass. Simply pop a plastic shim between your cutting plates and then roll through your Gemini die cutting machine and voila, an amazing precise cut every time. Plastic shims work really well with detailed or thin metal dies. So if intricate cutting is your thing, then the Gemini Accessories plastic shim is your best friend.
Quick Buy, get yours now.
Last 20 minutes or so. So pleasing to see that so many of you have started your journey. Just to touch on the colours as well, because a few people are chatting about the colours that you're going to get within your Academy of Colour. Different configurations within these pens than what you've seen before, and configurations that we think are going to work absolutely beautifully together. So you've got that side of things. The other thing as well, and I mentioned this because I know so many of you are kind of like excited, like right, I've got the first set. When's the next kit coming? You know, when am I going to be able to add to it? We can't give you like a definite time frame because you know with everything that's going on in the world currently, shipping issues everywhere around the world, we haven't got a definitive time span, but I think you can be, hopefully fairly confident to think that, potentially within the next 6 to 8 weeks, that sort of time span I think is what we're thinking about, but is obviously dependent on a lot of issues. But you know what, as soon as we've got these available, you guys will be the very first to know as soon as we've got the next kit available for you. But for now, I know it's hard not to get excited. For now, be excited that this one is here. Get using this get using the classes that you've got available, and as I say, as soon as we have that next step available for you, you'll be the very first to know. Right, in the last 20 minutes or so, more hints and tips and techniques and more of these little mini taster classes, and we're going to be looking at, with Leanne, creating backgrounds, Leanne, aren't we?
Absolutely, and we're going to do the whistle-stop version.
Okay.
It's not quite the whistle-stop in the education, but you'll bear with me, you'll get an idea of the different things you can do. I definitely want to show you what the bleach does, and I definitely want to show you what the salt does. First things first, we're going to have a look at just how to create a really easy ombre background. So I'm putting a couple of colours on here, and then I'm going to take one of the reds as well that I've got in my aqua marker. So I've got a nice red, I've got the orange, and I've got a yellow. And then I'm going to take my wide brush. I've got my paper towel again, always paper towel in my hand.
Yep.
Take off a little bit of the water and prepare the card, prime it. So that's just painting some water over, ready to receive colour. Okay, so once we've primed the background, we're ready to start adding. So we're going to, again with a damp brush, pick up the first colour, which is going to be the red, and then that gets painted on to my card. There we go. And then clean the brush. Pick up your next colour and brush that in.
Uh-huh.
So you see how I went over where the red ended, but I didn't go over all the way. And we can keep layering that up. And then clean my brush again. Now pick up the yellow and ombre that in there. Now if we want to intensify that or to add more colour, we can just keep going back to the colour we've got in our palette and painting that over. You'll see I dropped a lump of water there which made a white spot.
Yeah.
By just going back over and back over, I've managed to get rid of that.
Okay.
So we can just keep layering up in between the colours and picking up the colour from your palette and then layering it down. And to get more and more intensity, just keep adding a little bit more of that colour to your palette. I'll show you what it's finished like in a sec. A bit more of the yellow, a bit more of the red. So you see I'm able to just keep adding that to my palette, and then with a damp brush pick that up and go back and layer that in, and it intensifies the colour for you. And the backwards and forwards on the joins is how you remove the brush stroke but make the colour deeper.
Yeah.
That's how you get the ombre to happen. And then you can clean your brush, pick up the yellow, and then I'll go in between the two. So once you've done that a few times, and you can just keep intensifying by adding more and more in. Once you've done that a few times and you've dried it, this is what you're going to get. And you can do that with any of the colours. That gives you a really lovely ombre background. So that's easy, how you transition between several colours. What you can also do with that is do a faux bleach if you want. So at this point, what I can do is just dry it off a little bit. Not a lot, just a bit. And then Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels, wasn't it? Thank you, Debbie.
Flick some water on, and then with my kitchen towel, pick that up, and I get that lovely faux bleach background. So you've seen us do that a few times. You know what faux bleaching is about.
Yeah.
That's how you do that. I'm going to change this over, clean my palette, and now talk to you about some different things you can do to make custom backgrounds. And you know what, I cover quite a few of these in the education session. I'm not going to be able to cover it all, but I really want to show you the bleach and I really want to show you the salt. So I've got 2 pots of water here, pot 1, pot 2. In pot 1, I'm putting some household bleach.
Right.
About 1, 2, 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
The end, that's it. And then in pot 2,
ooh.
some salt.
Salt.
Hang on, I've just spilled the salt.
Oh dear.
Oh, do you know what I have to do now?
Chuck it over your shoulder.
I have to chuck it over my shoulder.
Which shoulder though, that's the question.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to tell you why, because I might offend some people, but there is a superstition whereby you have to put it over your shoulder, so I have to do it.
Oh. Is that the right one?
Yes, that's him blinded. Right. That's why you do it, isn't it? To throw it over your shoulder. You do. I'm superstitious when it comes to that. So I'm going to put in possibly 3 teaspoons of salt. So 1, this is just regular table salt.
I love this type of crafting.
2.
Using items at home.
That was a bit more.
Oh, hello.
3. It doesn't matter if you put any more in.
No. Make sure those get chucked away at the end of the show.
But yes, absolutely. But it's just, you don't need to have too much in, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Now I'm going to use my pen, which I will throw away. So I'm going to dissolve the salt. That's going to keep dissolving while I'm using the bleach. So dissolve, dissolve, dissolve. This is the bleach. Mixy, mixy, mixy.
Yeah.
I'm now going to put my pen in the bin. You won't be as wasteful as me. Use a bamboo stick or something, you know, that you don't mind getting in bleach and then getting rid of.
Yeah.
So that's, the salt's dissolved and the bleach is ready. And I've got my piece of paper here. Now I'm going to get some colour on my palette, and I'm going to go with the blue.
I thought I knew what you were going to do when I saw the salt there, but I now don't know what you're going to do.
Well, you would be thinking that I'm going to do the traditional salt background.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, which gives you this result. This is a traditional salt background where you watercolour it, you pour rock salt, not the table salt, the big lumps of rock salt on, let it dry, rub it away, that's the result you get. This is different.
Wow.
So I've got my palette, and now I'm going to take my big brush with my bleach, water, and I'm going to paint that onto my piece of card that I've got here.
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to be generous-ish.
Okay.
So I've got it's not sopping wet, but it's got bleach water on there. Okay, so that's on there now. Now I'm going to take my detail brush. I need some clean water for that. I've just used my salt water. Hang on, clean water. Here it is here. This will do. Not quite clean enough, but you get the idea. So I'm going to pick my clean water up now, and I'm going to pick my blue ink up from the palette, and then I'm going to drop it on here.
Ooh.
And what you'll see it do with the bleach is really start to move in a different way. Now, if you need to add a little bit more bleach water, you can.
Yeah.
And you'll get it really, I'm trying not to put my finger on that because it's bleachy. Water this down, there we go. And then when you drop it onto the bleach, I might need a bit more bleach actually, it'll start to run away with itself and make patterns which are very different to the types of patterns you get just using regular water.
Yes.
So it makes different
I think you can see it starting to take
runs
effect
and
there.
striations, yes.
Yeah.
And as you have to leave it to dry, and as it dries, you get more of an impressive effect with that.
Yes.
Let me just clean onto them on here.
And this is just the bleach now, isn't it? That you're
This is
adding?
just the bleach.
Right, okay.
Right, so now it's starting to do what I wanted to do. So now it's starting to run and meld together. Normally when you splash watercolour onto a piece of card like that, you're left with splots. Now what it's starting to do, you can see how it's starting to do that moving together, so you're getting more of a marbled effect with it. And I'll move to a piece where it's been left to dry fully, the bit that we do on the class, and you'll be able to see what I mean by that. So if I fast forward to what it's like when it's dry, this is the sort of effect you get from a bleach background.
Wow.
So it really, really does move around, and you can see how it's starting to do that in places.
So it looks like
there.
vapour trails almost.
Absolutely. So that's what your bleach will do for you. Let me just clean this up, because we're going to now do the salt.
Yeah. Interested to see this.
Oh, hang on, I've just put the wrong thing in the bin. Oh, hang on, I need to rescue that.
Oh, okay. By the way, just whilst we're rescuing that, we will, for those of you that are asking, we have got a demo of the day coming up very shortly, because this show has obviously all been technique-y based, so there'll be 2 cards for you to vote on, which we'll do in just a few moments' time. So don't worry, that is coming up in just a couple of moments.
So I'm just cleaning my brush and just getting all of my bleach out of that brush, because I'm not doing the bleach technique anymore.
Okay.
Bleach technique is finished. So get that nice and clean. Now I'm going to take my salty water,
right,
hoping that that's dissolved enough, and I'm going to brush this on.
Pam was just saying she loved that last technique. She says, I rarely use it though, because I tend to get bleach all over my clothes no matter how careful I am.
I know. Do you know, the result for those moving together is, it's fab. It really is lovely. I love it. So now I've just painted the salt water on here. That's the table salt dissolved in water, remember?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the same thing with a couple of colours. Let's get the same 2 colours so we can compare and contrast. And then we're going to, where have I put my brush? There it is. So I'm going to pick up my ink, And this is time, it's with the salt, remember. And as I touch it on,
oh yeah,
can you see how you're getting those little explosions?
it's like a mini firework display. Boom.
And that's what your table salt will do for you. It contains it, and you get these lovely little explosions by touching your ink, and you can just make up your own custom.
That's a great effect.
However you would like it to be.
Yeah.
And so it kind of takes it and does the little explosion, but then stops it going any further.
Yeah.
So you can just drop all of these on, and
That's
you get these
incredible.
wonderful, and you can do a whole mixture of different little colours in to build up a background by doing that. So you see the difference in how they move depending on what's in the water allows you to, I'm just going to move that to the side so you can I can show you the dried ones. Allows you to do the rock salt technique, which you've seen us do many times, the bleach technique, or here, the salt water technique, to build up your different types of background. Very, very different, because that's clean water and rock salt, bleach in the water, table salt in the water. So by deciding what you're going to put in the background, it really does give you some beautiful effects. And the salt water, this particular bit that you can see, that's what having salt in the water will do for you. It'll give you the little explosions and separate it out so you get that lovely effect once it's dry. So you're going to be able to achieve, Ben, just by adding a bit of stuff that you find at home in the cupboard, some fabulous results.
I tell you what, loads of people just chatting about those last few techniques, and a lot of you saying it's the first time you've seen actual bleach being used in crafting, and words coming through for the last one with the salt water. Susie just says, I think this is the salt water is my new favourite background technique. How cool to see those little mini fireworks jumping up off the page. Brenda says, that is cool. Sarah says, ooh, wow, Leanne. It's like a firework display going on the socials here. And Gilmore just commented in block capitals, wow. Over the last 3 hours, you have hopefully got the inspiration and sort of hints and tips and ideas that have kind of led you to jump in and grab the Academy of Colour. Just imagine, like I think it was Dawn who was saying earlier on, that if you've been inspired by what you've seen in this show, just imagine how inspired and how much more you'll learn when you take the free classes that come with your Academy of Colour. £99 or $119 today. Yes, an investment, but remember that you've got all of those classes to be able to achieve what you want to achieve, to be able to take you wherever you want to go on your colouring journey. And just before we do go, in about 5 or 6 minutes time, we will very quickly again with Leanne just go through the box for you so you know exactly everything that you're going to get. But I just want you to bear in mind once again that on top of all of this, great price for all of the contents that you're going to get, the first part of the Academy of Colour, but just bear in mind once again, already there for you out there in the ether, over 6 hours worth of tuition, of classes, absolutely free with your Academy of Colour. That's why people are buying into this, because they know that they've got all of that education, all of that inspiration, all of the guidance, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home, at your pace, at a time to suit. Invaluable, really, and a real game changer, I think, when it comes to something like this. Now, just before we do a quick unboxing again on your Academy of Colour, we must just take care of some very serious business, the demo of the day. Now, obviously, this was a very technique-y based show, so we've just got 2 cards to vote on today. The first was Craig's card that he made a little bit earlier on. This was this morning from Wake Up Call, using the floral month stamps. So this one he made. What's the actual name for that? I know that as a Van Halen card, but no, because it's like the Van Halen logo, isn't it? You guys will know exactly what I mean. Anyway, that's number 1. Really beautiful. This is going to be a close run thing today. Number 2 is Sara's beautiful card that she made on launch day just a few hours ago using the brand new interchangeable scene dies. So, which is your favourite there? I would not like to call that one. You've got, I would say, about 3 minutes to get your voting on that, because we are fast approaching the end of the show. So number 1 for Craig, or number 2 for Sara. Get voting now. You've got about, as I say, 3 minutes to get your vote in on that. By the way, if you did like the interchangeable scene dies, they are still available for you. You can watch back the show launch day from earlier on, 2 o'clock this afternoon. That show was phenomenal with loads of great demos from Sara, so do make sure you watch that one back. Just as we wrap up, though, just as we finish up on what has been an unbelievable 3 hours, let's have another look through the box. Let's get a final sort of say from Leann as well. If you are still sat on that fence, I don't think there's many of you still sat on that fence, hearing about the hundreds of you who have been shopping and jumping in and grabbing this today. But if you have just joined us and you want a quick overview as to everything you're going to get, let's go to Leann and she'll show us through the box.
Okay, so the box is absolutely fabulous, Ben, and when you get it home, the first thing you're going to feel is the quality of it. It feels like a real quality piece, and of course on the front there it tells you your colouring journey starts here. It's got a beautiful magnetic closure. When you open it up, the first tier in the box are our duo colour alcohol markers. You've also got this card. Please don't throw that away. This is really important. It tells you where to go to get all of your education. The second layer is your Duo Aqua, your white acrylic marker for highlighting, your spritzer for techniques, your broad brush and your fine detail brush. Your third layer will have in there the storage panels that you're using for your stamps, these white pieces, and your 3 acrylic stamp sets, which are your technique, your alcohol and your watercolour specific stamps. All of those come in this binder. You've then got your palette, you've got your alcohol marker card and your watercolour card for all of the techniques that I've been showing you. They all stack up on each other and they find their place in the box. They've got a little lip so it keeps them nice and still so they don't slip out or fall out when you're moving it around. Yeah. You build that whole thing up and then you've got this, what's happening here? There we are, I haven't pushed my pen in far enough. It's stopping it from sitting on. There we go. It sits on the top there beautifully and then all folds up. You've also got your fabulous binder, which is full of quality, where you've got this beautiful faux leather, a really gorgeous detailed stitch. Open it up inside and you've got your first box that you're buying now, your duo colour introduction, and then a helpful indication of what else you can expect from this fabulous programme with all of those other topics that we will be bringing boxes to you for. You can store your stamps in the relevant place. You've got an index card for each one of those new boxes that we will be launching, so you've got somewhere to put all of your pieces. And then you've got your plastic project pockets, which go into the section you're working in, so you can store your work in progress or your helpful hints or your notes to yourself, so you know exactly where you're putting them. It's an absolutely fantastic offer, Ben, where you get all of that, and it truly is an academy to teach you how to colour, because you're getting all of that free education available to you on that website, absolutely no charge, and it's 3 hours of dedicated time to you to help you on your journey. You've also got the Facebook page, which has in the moment feedback to you from me, from Sara, from our plethora of colouring specialists here at Crafters Companion, and of course from all of your classmates and your colleagues who are also on this journey with you, where you can support each other, encourage each other, and just share that experience together. It's truly fabulous.
I mean, wonderful words to finish off what has been a wonderful show. Loads of you have oohed and ahed on the last few techniques. Gilmore just saying Leann's teaching is what we're investing in. The box is just a bonus. That's such a lovely thing to say. Thank you, Leann, says Alison. So excited to have this box coming. Rachel says, what a fantastic show. And Miriam saying, Leann makes it easy to try things that you would never otherwise try. Grab this now, just very, very quickly, because we're literally disappearing in 55 seconds. Brand new goodies coming your way, as you said, loads coming up over the course of the next few days. The Totally Tiffany Desk Made is arriving, launching on the 26th of March on Craft House. Actually, I want to say, and I'm 99% sure of this, we're going to be hearing from Tiffany tomorrow. I'm sure she's dialing into the Craft Along tomorrow, where I'll be with Debbie, also George. Sandra will be here from Santangle as well, so it's going to be a crazy busy day tomorrow. But we're celebrating Totally Tiffany's 19th birthday. Don't forget double points on all Totally Tiffany goodies over on the website right now, along with our spring sale, along with a 3 for 2 on Spectrum Noir accessories. So there's plenty to shop for. What was the winner of the demo of the day? Here you cry. Demo of the day It was very close. Goes to... She'll be very pleased. Sara's card wins. We'll put that onto the Crafty Walk of Fame, and that could be the demo of the week. Thank you so much, Leanne. I know you've been struggling with a little bit of a cold, but it's been an invaluable 3 hours, and thanks so much for spending that time with us. We've loved it.
Oh, thank you, Ben. That's really kind of you. I've really enjoyed it. I love nothing more than talking about the Academy of Colour. It's something I'm very proud of. It's very close to my heart. And so to have been able to talk to you about it for 3 hours, well, it's been a bit of a treat.
Thank you so much. Always lovely to have Leanne here. Take that step today. Make that first step on what will be an amazing journey with the Academy of Colour. If you've got it in your basket right now, in your cart, get it checked out. You will definitely thank us later. Thank you so much to everyone today. Thank you to Leanne. Thank you to the whole team. Thank you to George Squared in the gallery. Thank you to Susie on the socials, Tracy, John, all the whole gang who've made it possible to be an amazing day tomorrow. And another amazing day coming up for you tomorrow as well. More crafty guests, more crafty shows. All of your favourites will be here, and I will be here too. That came out all wrong. See you tomorrow. Bye.